Chapter 632. The little girl was stunned. Wait, what did you say? You've already sealed it? How did you seal it? Where is your knife? The others were also stunned. We haven't even finished talking and you've already sealed the spirit? Seeing that everyone was staring at him, Han Fei immediately stretched out his hand and a knife appeared. The little girl was stunned. Wait, why did you recognize me as your master? Han Fei smiled faintly. I had to come in anyway. It's just an ultra-quality spiritual weapon. It's not a big deal, is it? No, it's not a big deal. The little girl was stunned, dumbfounded, and shocked. 1 month? This guy became a 3-star refiner in 1 month? How could he be so fast? He just bought the refining method from the refining hall a month ago. Could it be that this person was really a refining equipment that was hard to come by in 100 years? More importantly, doesn't it mean that from now on, the title of refining genius will only belong to number 3? The little girl immediately stomped her feet. No, I must become a 4-star refiner earlier than him. Yes, that's it. I must be faster than him. The 7-star brawny man directly took off his mask. No matter how Han Fei did it, he had already done it, so he was already a member of the 4th unit. One after another, the other people showed up. Only this little girl was unwilling to take off her mask now. Instead, she pulled the mask tighter over her face. Cough, cough. Girl, take off your mask. I won't take it off. Han Fei will be a member of the 4th unit from now on. Even if you don't take it off now, you'll have to take it off in the future. No, I'll wear a mask in the future. Han Fei was speechless. What's wrong with this girl? So you'll wear a mask to see me in the future? The frosty young man said lightly. Mu Jie, do you know Han Fei? Han Fei was slightly taken aback. Mu Jie, the name sounds a bit familiar. Suddenly, Han Fei looked at the girl. Are you the woman who wrote the quick guide for new refiners and sold it to me? Ah. Guan Qinyan, will you die if you don't speak? The girl immediately took off her mask and looked at Han Fei angrily. Yes, 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 I am. Did you gain some enlightenment after reading my instant completion grimoire? Han Fei paused for a moment. Wow. I forgot, I haven't seen it yet. Han Fei, you did it on purpose. You must have done it on purpose. Mu Jie was furious. Didn't you read it? Did you want to say it? Can't you just say you saw it? Why are you so insensible? Han Fei ignored the nervous little girl. Why did he feel like he knew this girl? So it was the genius blacksmith, Mu Jie. At this moment, the little girl was still angry, but Han Fei had already contacted several other people. The middle-aged man that he had thought was not middle-aged. He looked like he was in his 30s and still felt like a young man. The frosty Guan Qinyan was looking at Han Fei curiously. How did you do it? Guan Qinyan asked. How did you seal the soul in less than 10 minutes? Han Fei had already thought of an excuse. He couldn't help but say, it's simple. As long as I poke a knife in its head and say a few words to it, it will be fine. One is that if it doesn't become a weapon spirit, it will die and its soul will be destroyed. The other is that if it becomes a weapon spirit, it will be immortal. What do you think it will choose? Impossible. How could it be? How can it be so simple? For a moment, everyone was stunned. Are you King bragging to us? If it was so simple, wouldn't all refiners be able to seal souls? Mu Jie scoffed. You liar, liar. Only Guan Qinyan was pondering, and then he wondered, how do I communicate with marine creatures? Is there a secret technique of communication? Or... Suddenly, Guan Qinyan looked shocked. Is there a secret technique of communication in your family? Even Han Fei was stunned. This young man is great. This answer is even better than the one he made up. Han Fei originally wanted to say that he could confuse marine creatures with arrays and make them make the wrong choice. But this guy had changed the excuse that he was about to say. Yes, yes, it's the secret technique of communication. Unfortunately, my bloodline only inherited half of the secret technique. I can only talk to it, but I can't listen to it. It's said that someone in my ancestors' family can understand any creature. That's an incredible bloodline. Guan Qinyan asked solemnly, "Is your ancestor from an ancient refining family in the Thousand-Star City?" Han Fei replied, "Not exactly. My family is in ruins. Even my father's generation lived in the village. How can it be an ancient family? However, bloodline inheritance is hard to say. I heard that it's called intergenerational inheritance. Do you know that? I only found out about it a few months ago." As he spoke, Han Fei put his hand on Guan Qingyan's shoulder. "By the way, this is a secret. You can't tell anyone." The others were all stunned. Even the seven-star expert couldn't help but ask, "Is there such a bloodline?" Mu Jiar said angrily, "That's impossible. I've read all the books and unofficial histories of refining, but I've never heard of such an incredible bloodline. Uncle Beihua, don't be fooled by him." Han Fei shook his head with a smile. "You're too ignorant. The rise and fall of refining is more than 10,000 years. You're just a little girl. How can you read all of it? How many records can there be? Some things are obliterated by history, but only a few words remain. You can see and hear them? Didn't you say that you became a 3-star refiner in half a year? Where did you find the time to read so many books?" Mu Jiar blushed. She clenched her fists and stomped the ground anxiously. I. It only took me half a year. Because I used all the time before to digest them." Han Fei mimicked her tone. You. Why don't you think about it? Everything has a spirit. For example, birds, insects, fish, and crabs. Do you really think I'm brainless? Little girl, there's always someone better than you." Mu Jiar said angrily, "You said I stuttered again." Han Fei opened his hand. "Did I?" Mu Jiar asked. "That's exactly what you meant." Han Fei said, "That's your own understanding. It has nothing to do with me." Mu Jiar pointed at Han Fei. Han Fei stuck out his tongue. "Don't panic. I don't want you to call me you again. Uncle Beihua, he's bullying me." Han Fei. The middle-aged brawny man shook his head helplessly. Bloodlines can't be verified after all. However, the scattered stars' 7 units only accept heavenly talent. In any case, Han Fei was truly a genius in refining after refining and sealing souls in one go. Clap, clap, clap. Uncle Beihua clapped his hands and roared, "Come out and meet the new member." After Beihua's roar, a couple of people walked out of the 100 caves. Yes, there were so many holes, and it seemed like there were only 7 or 8 people illuminating the ground with a myriad of colors. Someone laughed. "New member? What a surprise. Boss Beihua, is the new member good?" Someone welcomed them. "It's been a long time since we had a new member." "Hello, my name is Gunan." A woman with bare arms said, "Yo." An advanced, dangling fisher. "He seems to be as good as Jia and Qinyan." Someone nodded. "He's so young. Has an unparalleled heavenly talent come to the 4th unit?" Those people greeted Han Fei and introduced themselves. Then, they all surrounded him. 2 of them were girls. One of them had a great figure and looked like a mature woman. The other looked rather plain. The mature woman, however, said, "Brother, do you mind dating a younger man?" Han Fei instantly sweated. "Is this how you greet each other? Who can resist that?" Mu Jiar pouted and said, "Sister Qingqing, don't be fooled by his appearance." Xie Qingqing chuckled. "Jiar, are you in love with him? Fine, I won't compete with you for him." Mu Jiar blushed. Who would be in love with such a braggart?" Someone smiled. "Jiar, it's fine if you're in love with him. He's an insider." Cough, cough. Uncle Beihua coughed heavily and pretended to be angry. "Just talk nicely. Don't let the new member laugh at us." However, Uncle Beihua was too kind to be angry. It seemed that nobody was listening to him. Han Fei couldn't help but wonder what kind of department he had joined. Beihua, however, said, well, Han Fei, as you can see, it's not that the fourth unit is understaffed. It's just that everybody is free, so there aren't many people here. Let's get to know each other first. A moment later, after a round of greetings, 5 or 6 of them left and went back to their refining. The few who were more active were surrounding Han Fei. Xie Qingqing asked, Boss, did you change his waist tag? Beihua was stunned. Yes, I almost forgot about that. Beihua picked up his waist tag and said to it, the fourth unit has a new member named Han Fei, an advanced dangling fisher with 3 stars. I would like to add a star. Han Fei was stunned. So simple? Xie Qingqing said gloomily, simple? You're probably the first one to say that. The fourth unit is not a place that you can just join. If you can seal souls, adding a star is nothing. Look at Jiar. She joined 6 months earlier than you, but she's already a 5-star. Even if you add a star, you'll still have the lowest number of stars in the fourth unit. Mu Jiaer's eyes glittered when she heard that. Yes, you're the lowest. So, you're my junior brother. Han Fei was lost for words. No, wait a moment. Where did this relationship of yours come from? We're colleagues at best. Mu Jiar said, yes, you're my junior brother. You're the latest and have the lowest number of stars. Han Fei, I won't listen, Han Fei. Chapter 633. Han Fei saw one more star on his waist tag with his own eyes. Thinking of the files of everyone in the Scattered Stars City, Han Fei suddenly felt that the management and monitoring here were quite strict. What were the requirements for a 4-star rank? Han Fei knew that 300,000 points were the foundation. It seemed that he still had to hold 5 battles before he could get a 4-star rank. It didn't seem to be very difficult. But on second thought, 300,000 points were not easy to get at all. In theory, even if Yu Lingyun and the others harvested every day, they generally wouldn't get more than 1,000 points. On average, it would be good if they could get 500 points. After all, the seaside didn't belong to his family. Many people were harvesting, and if there were more people, there wouldn't be enough things to share. Even if there were 500 points every day, it would take 600 days to get 300,000 points. That would be almost 2 years. Even with the monthly post salary and the extra rewards he got from participating in battles, he could shorten the 600 days to a year at most. And this was when he didn't need to buy weapons, techniques, and combat skills. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to get 4 stars in a year. And this didn't include the time for cultivation. A normal person who worked hard every day on the Scattered Stars Island could only get 300,000 points in a year. But Han Fei just entered the Scattered Stars 4th unit, passed the assessment, and was already a 4-star without adding any points. This speed could be said to be the envy of bystanders. At this moment, Guan Qinyan stretched out his hand and said coldly, "Let's keep in touch." Han Fei thought for a moment. This iceberg boy was not simple. After all, there were only 2 people who dared to call themselves refining geniuses. As for Mu Jier, Han Fei had a headache. Guan Qinyan, on the other hand, was cold and didn't talk much. It was a good idea to add him as a friend. He didn't bother Han Fei, so he could talk to him about refining when he was interested. But just after Han Fei and Guan Qinyan exchanged contact information, Mu Jier also turned her head and didn't look at Han Fei, but her hand reached out to Han Fei's chest. Han Fei asked, "What are you doing?" Mu Jier pouted. "The 4th unit has to exchange contact information." Han Fei looked at Guan Qinyan. "Is that so?" Guan Qinyan shook his head. "Whatever." Mu Jiaer's little face rubbed and then she blushed. "Guan Qinyan, go away." Guan Qinyan said indifferently, "I have something to discuss with Brother Han about refining." Mu Jiaer said, "I'm senior sister." Han Fei was amused. "Don't flatter yourself. There are no senior sisters in the 4th division." Mu Jiaer puffed up her cheeks. "I'm the senior sister." "Okay. You just wanted to PM me. I'll give you a chance, but don't come to me for no reason. I'm very busy. Humph, I'm not looking for you. Han Fei was amused. Why did you add me if you didn't look for me? Mu Jiar said, why do you care? After sending Mu Jiar away, Han Fei looked at Bei Huo and asked, Uncle, is the 4-star title really just an extra star? Bei Huo looked like a nice guy. He said with a smile, of course not. The communication range of a 4-star rank had already reached 200 miles. If you have 5 stars, your contact range will be 500 miles. Han Fei asked in surprise, then wouldn't the 6 or 7 stars cover the entire Scattered Stars Island? Bei Huo nodded. Of course. The range of communication of a 7-star rank is 5,000 kilometers. Han Fei couldn't help but look forward to it. Although the effect was not as good as a cell phone, it was not bad. What did 5,000 kilometers mean? It meant voice transmission from 1,000 kilometers away. Bei Huo said, you've just joined the Scattered Stars 4th unit. There are a few jobs that you need to learn. Everyone in the 4th unit needs to provide 20 ultra-quality spiritual weapons with sealed souls every month. Of course, the materials will be provided by the 4th unit. Also, you need to spend 1 day in the 4th unit every month to study the forging methods of divine weapons together. As he spoke, Bei Huo said with a smile, in fact, it won't take much time. Also, make a trip to the refining hall later and collect your 3-star craftsman certificate. With a 3-star certificate, you can enjoy a half-price discount when renting a room in the refining hall. If you become a 4-star refiner in the future, you'll be able to use the refining rooms in the refining hall for free. As for the refining in this place, of course, it's free, but it's located in a secret place, and we can't come here every day. Han Fei grinned delightfully, thinking that his refining business would definitely multiply with the 3-star refiner certificate. By then, he would be able to earn a lot of credits. Mu Jiar asked, why are you smiling like an idiot? Cough cough. Am I smiling? Yes. Han Fei pondered. Shouldn't I be smiling? Forget it. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm going back to collect the rent. Well, some anti-poison fruit. Guan Qinyan looked at Han Fei. Brother Han, do you want to talk? I have a lot of questions. Han Fei paused. Well, maybe next time. I was caught in the middle of a battle. My teammates seem to have been poisoned. I need to get some anti-poison fruits to comfort them. Guan Qinyan nodded. That explains a lot. Then let's talk next time. Han Fei nodded. Of course. In the elevator, Han Fei memorized the route of the killing array, put on a mask, and left the yard. Ever since he became an official member of the Scattered Stars 7th unit, Han Fei's identity had been protected. He had to wear a mask when he went out. Yang Dao had already left. Han Fei wondered if Chao Qiu passed the test. Naturally, Han Fei took out his boat and rushed to the refining hall. The procedure for exchanging for a 3-star refiner was very simple. The refining hall seemed to have known it a long time ago. So, after Han Fei stated his purpose, he got his 3-star refiner certificate in no more than half an hour. He didn't contact Xiaobai or Lu Renquang, who seemed to be busier than him, unlike his job, which was to investigate and fight. It was already night when he returned to the skeleton shore. When Han Fei came back with 4 stars, many people exclaimed, "Wow! 4 stars? Congratulations, Captain Han. You've been promoted to 4 stars. 4 stars? That's too fast. He's only been here for a month. He's already got 4 stars as an advanced dangling fisher?" Immediately, someone came close and asked, "Captain Han, how did you get 4 stars? Captain Han, what did the hidden fisher do when he took you to the front line? How did you get 4 stars as soon as you came back? Captain Han, did you make a great contribution in the front line?" Han Fei was surrounded by them. Yu Lingyun and the others who came in a hurry were infuriated to see that. Yu Lingyun said angrily, "Get out of the way! Don't surround our captain." Wu Xiaoxiao said, "Get out of the way! This is our captain, not yours. Gu Daliang held his hands and said, Don't block the way. Disperse. After they pushed the crowd away, they saw that Han Fei was slowly putting a new tag on his waist. Immediately, someone exclaimed, Is this a 3-star refiner certificate? Wow, the crowd was seething. Last night, Han Fei had just refined an ultra-quality spiritual weapon. On the other side, Han Fei actually got the 3-star refiner certificate back. What kind of speed was that? Han Fei said unhurriedly, Don't panic, everyone. Today, I made friends with the hidden fisher and many friends. While discussing my experience, I accidentally sealed a soul and got myself a 3-star refiner certificate. Today is a great day. I've decided to reduce the refining fee by another 10%. Wow! Really? Are you sure? So cheap? Captain Han, will the sealing fee be reduced by 10% too? Han Fei said unhurriedly, Of course. However, it's quite troublesome to seal a soul, and I can't let it go to waste. But we're all colleagues. How can I charge you a high fee? So, I've decided that even ultra-quality spiritual weapons with sealed souls can be owed in the form of credit. However, as long as you're still alive, remember to pay me back. Otherwise, I'll lose a lot of money. Who? Captain Han, you're our role model. Captain Han, you're our role model. Captain Han, you're so benevolent. For a moment, howls echoed everywhere. A spirit artifact with a sealed spirit was not something that just anyone could obtain. Everybody in the 8th Battalion was overjoyed by Han Fei's decision to reduce the fee and let them owe him. In such a way, wouldn't the 8th Battalion be armed to the teeth in only a few months? Apart from everything else, their overall combat power would probably be multiplied. Yu Lingyun said, Are you crazy? Life and death are predestined in a war. Aren't you afraid that you can't take it back? Wu Xiaoxiao said, Captain, even though we're comrades, you're too nice. Han Fei immediately responded with a stern face, Hey! Don't be short-sighted. Our responsibility is to work for the peace of the scattered stars island. For peace, for prosperity, and for the thousands of soldiers who are fighting on the front line, who will go to hell if I don't. Immediately, someone echoed, Captain Han, you're my blood brother from now on. Someone criticized Yu Lingyun, you're short-sighted. Captain Han is a heavenly talent. How can you girls understand what he's thinking? Someone agreed, that's right. Yu Lingyun, you should be happy that Captain Han is so righteous. Han Fei was grinning, but his mind was already elsewhere. That's a lot of money. Cough, cough. Han Fei. Suddenly, a voice came from the sky. The crowd immediately fell silent. When Han Fei looked back, he found that Yang Dao, Zhong Han, and Chao Qiu had landed. Han Fei was dumbfounded. What's going on? Yang Dao casually glanced at Han Fei and said unhurriedly, Everybody, gather up. The group of 2-star and 3-star lackeys of the 8th Battalion instantly formed a formation and stood meticulously when they saw the arrival of the 7-star big shot. Yu Lingyun and the others immediately stood behind the dumbfounded Han Fei. Yang Dao said indifferently, From today on, Zhong Han, the captain of the 8th Battalion of the 3rd column, will be transferred. The 8th Battalion will have 2 deputy captains, Han Fei, the former captain of the 37th Squad, and Chao Qiu next to me. Han Fei. Everyone. The first update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 634. Everybody was shocked by Yang Dao's words. Everybody in the 8th Battalion looked at each other in bewilderment. Although they had now completely accepted Han Fei and guessed that Han Fei was a god's favored one, they didn't dare to underestimate him. However, Han Fei was only an advanced dangling fisher after all. As for Chao Qiu, he was clearly a junior hanging fisher. Although both of them had 4 stars, they weren't as prestigious as Zhong Han, who was a peak-level hanging fisher. Han Fei was dumbfounded himself. I can lead a squad, no problem at all. I can spare a lot of time for my own business. However, being a captain? Are you kidding me? I don't have time to be a captain. Immediately, Han Fei stepped forward. Lord Yang, I'm only an advanced dangling fisher. I'm not qualified to be a captain. Yang Kai sneered. Why are you suppressing your strength as an advanced dangling fisher? You have to become a peak-level dangling fisher in 3 days and a hanging fisher in 3 months. Han Fei was stunned. Wait, Lord Yang, I'm a body refiner. Isn't 3 months a little too short? Yang Kai snorted. You've already made a breakthrough. It's only a matter of time before you become a peak-level hanging fisher. You'll be one of the best peak-level hanging fishers once you make a breakthrough. What's there to be scared of? What about you? Your mission is to guard the skeleton shore for half a year. The mortality rate must be no higher than 20% in half a year. Han Fei instantly looked at Zhong Han. Zhong Han had just received the news too. He thought to himself, what's the point of looking at me? Who told you to be so cocky during the tide of red ghosts? I'm going to be transferred right now. Yang Dao grinned. It's useless to look at him. Nobody will care about the skeleton shore in half a year. It's all up to you. Han Fei instantly asked telepathically, Senior, who did I piss off? Humph. Yang Dao glanced at Han Fei and replied, It's not easy to be a genius. This is the assessment of you after the comprehensive review by the command center. Perform well, and you'll be given the honorary title of Guardian of the Sea after half a year. After that, Yang Dao pushed Chao Chiu forward and jumped on the boat with Zhong Han. Take care of yourselves. If we lose the skeleton shore, all of you will be punished. Yang Dao and Zhong Han flew away, leaving Han Fei and all the members of the 8th Battalion stunned. Chao Chiu ran over eagerly. Han Fei, we're comrades now. Han Fei said angrily, Go away, you piece of trash. Chao Chiu said bitterly, I am now the designated deputy captain of the 8th Battalion. Wu Xiaoxiao pulled Han Fei's clothes. Captain, you're our captain now that you're a captain, right? The crowd continued to discuss. What's going on? Will this work? Why did someone suddenly appear out of nowhere? Don't tell me he got in through the back door? Could it be that he's also a genius? That day, during the Red Spirit Tide, I saw this person. Everyone was afraid of Zhong Han, but not Han Fei. It was just that he wasn't used to being addressed this way. The captains, in particular, were of the same rank as Han Fei. Now that he had inexplicably fallen a level lower, he still felt a little indignant in his heart. Immediately, someone asked, Captain, Han Fei, what kind of rules are we going to establish? Brother Han, who is this fatty? Han Fei was quite angry that he had been given the position of deputy captain for no reason. It couldn't have been a simple matter. Who could bear the fact that something happened to him every now and then? However, since the order had been given, Han Fei could only grit his teeth and say, Don't panic, everyone. Don't regard me as a captain yet. Let's continue to refine ultra-quality spiritual weapons. As for the person next to me, he is Chao Chiu, the famous deadly poison master who once struck fear into people's hearts. Chao Chiu was stunned. What the hell? Since when did I become a lethal poison master? His lethal poison master? So terrifying that people tremble in fear at the sound of it? Captain Han, could it be that this Captain Chao has some sort of awe-inspiring battle record? Han Fei raised his head. Speaking of military exploits, our lethal poison master once wiped out a 300-kilometer tide of crabs with a drop of the king of poison. Another example is that he once shook the 7 major sects of the Thousand-Star City with his own poison and forced many heavenly talents of the big clans to retreat. Hiss! So powerful? It sounds like it's very powerful. No, this guy is a bit poisonous. We'd better stay away from him. I think Han Fei is more approachable. Chao Chiu was dumbfounded. What do you mean I shook the 7 major sects with my poison? When did I become the heavenly talents of the big clans? However, looking at the expressions of those people, it seemed that they were quite happy. Immediately, Chao Chiu smiled happily. Han Fei is so good at bragging that even I almost believe it. Han Fei immediately smiled at everyone and said, "Everyone, go back and do what you should do. Those who needed to defend, those who needed to stand guard, those who needed to keep watch, those who needed to investigate. I need to carefully study the future of our 8th Battalion with Captain Chow. Tomorrow morning, we will come up with a development plan for the next 6 months. Please wait and see." Then, Han Fei dragged Chao Chiu to the woodland nearby, and Wu Xiaoxiao shouted behind him, "Captain, where are you going?" Han Fei said without looking back, "I'm going to discuss something important. You can make your own arrangements." After a moment, Chao Chiu gasped and said, "What's wrong? Do you have any ideas?" However, the title of Lethal Poison Master is not bad. I like it. Han Fei was speechless. "Why do you like it?" "Sit down." Han Fei and Chao Chiu sat on the ground, and Han Fei asked, "Wait, why did you come to my 8th Battalion? Did you bring that hidden fisher here?" Chao Chiu curled his lips. "Of course not. I just applied for a transfer to your place. When we cooperate, we are invincible." Han Fei's face was black. "Invincible? Tell me first, why did you come to the Scattered Stars Island? Who else is here? Where are they?" Chao Chiu grinned. "You want to ask Sun Mu and the others, right? Don't worry, although we are from the big clans in the Thousand Star City, they have to follow the rules when they come to the Scattered Stars Island. At least before they get 5-star titles, they won't have time to trouble you." "Why?" Chao Chiu exclaimed. "You don't know?" Han Fei asked, "What do I know?" Chao Chiu explained, "Of course, only when we get 5-star titles can we be considered free people." Han Fei said indifferently, "I know this. 5-star titles mean that you can go to sea. 6-star titles mean that you can go to sea alone. They are known as slaughterers on the Scattered Stars Island. This is common sense. I've known it for a long time." Han Fei was very distressed. He planned to keep a low profile for half a year, and then it shouldn't be a problem for him to become a hanging fisher. Plus, as a refiner, he could slowly rise. But now, he was suddenly promoted to the position of captain, which made him feel strange. As the saying went, the tallest tree in the forest is the first to be destroyed by the wind. It was fine in the level 3 fishery, but there were many masters on the Scattered Stars Island. Han Fei asked, "The people from the Thousand Star City are all here for training. Did they bring a large number of servants?" Chao Chiu chuckled. "No. Don't worry. Let me tell you, in the unknown place, it doesn't matter if you kill them." Han Fei obviously didn't believe him. Chao Chiu just wanted to kill Sun Mu and the others. He wouldn't be fooled. Chao Chiu patted Han Fei's arm. "Believe it. What is the unknown place? If the big clans of the Thousand Star City want to intervene, they have to ask Shueishenqi, the supreme commander of the Scattered Stars Island." Han Fei was taken aback. Can the supreme commander here not give face to the Thousand Star City? Chao Chiu smiled and said, "Of course not, although the forces of the big clans in the Thousand Star City are also complicated here. Although the big clans of the Thousand Star City have complicated forces here, believe me, they can't control this place. Especially when we go to sea in the future, who will know if you kill someone? If they want to investigate, they have to get through Shueishenqi first. Even if they get through Shueishenqi and find the murderer, they can't do whatever they want." With that, Chao Chiu leaned closer to Han Fei. "It is said that there is someone above Shueishenqi. It is because of this person in the unknown place that the safety of this place is ensured. Otherwise, who can stop a big demon from attacking?" Han Fei's eyelids twitched. "Isn't Shueishenqi the supreme commander? There is someone above him? Who else is there? But that's a matter of more than a dozen star ranks. It's not Han Fei's time to worry about it now. What Han Fei was worried about now was that he would be blamed by this captain. How could he have the time to manage a team? He felt that if it was possible, he wouldn't even want to be a captain anymore. The other was that Sun Mu and the others were looking for trouble. It was impossible that the big clans of the Thousand-Star City had no foundation here. He just hoped that those people wouldn't come now. It was not the right time to declare war on those people. Han Fei asked, "Are you sure Sun Mu and the others have no time to come and bother us?" Chao Qiu nodded. "Yes." Han Fei suddenly asked, "Is Tangu here?" Chao Qiu was taken aback. "He should be here. Logically speaking, he should be here, but my group didn't see him. Why do you ask him?" Han Fei shrugged. "It's okay. Tangu is a good opponent." Chao Qiu, second update. Asking for votes, end of this chapter. Chapter 635. Under Chao Qiu's repeated assurances, Han Fei reluctantly believed the fact that in the unknown place, even the big clans in the Thousand-Star City couldn't do whatever they wanted. Back in the Level 3 fishery, Han Fei was just not sure. Otherwise, he would definitely have killed a group of people on the steps into the sea. Thinking of this, Han Fei couldn't help asking, "How strong are they now?" Chao Qiu glanced at Han Fei. "You have to work hard." As early as when they returned to the Thousand-Star City, within a month, almost all of them had broken through to the hanging fisher realm. The strongest one, like my brother, has already become an intermediate hanging fisher, and this is the case when he suppresses his strength. Han Fei was speechless. Wait a minute, isn't Chao Tian a body refiner? How can he make a breakthrough so fast? Chao Qiu glanced at Han Fei. Body refiners can also be fast. My family is rich and has all kinds of auxiliary materials for cultivation. It's not normal if I'm not fast. Han Fei's face was black. No, I really have to make a breakthrough in the next 2 days. If I don't make a breakthrough now, after half a year, those old opponents will all become advanced hanging fishers or even peak-level hanging fishers. Even if I'm invincible in the same realm, I'll still be beaten by them sooner or later. Chao Qiu nudged Han Fei with his elbow. "Hey! What should I do? This is the first time I lead a team. I'm a little nervous." Han Fei said grumpily, "Haha, you're going to take them into the sea to investigate. When you encounter enemies, you have to take the lead. Are you sure you can lead them?" Chao Qiu's face stiffened and he said in astonishment, "I am the deputy captain of the 8th Battalion. Do I have to go to the sea to investigate in person?" Han Fei sneered. "Otherwise, how do you think you can convince the others? Even if you rely on the Poison King, don't you have to show the power of the Poison King?" Chao Qiu was immediately discouraged. "No. Today, I used most of the Poison King, and there are only less than 20 caddies left. And some Poison Smoke King can't last a few days." Han Fei nudged Chao Qiu and said, "So, the first step is to make money first." Chao Qiu was stunned. "Make money? I have plenty of money. I brought 50 million high-quality pearls with me this time. If it weren't for my sister, I would have brought hundreds of millions first." Han Fei was exhausted. "I fought so hard, robbed the dragon boats, and opened the gambling house, but I only made 15 million high-quality pearls in total. Xia Xiaochan and the others each gave more than 1 million, leaving less than 10 million. This was not even enough to make up for the pocket money given by the family." Han Fei licked his lip. "It would be great if I could rob a big clan." Chao Qiu asked, "What did you say?" Han Fei came back to himself. "I say you have money but you don't use it, are you stupid? At this time, what should you do? First, buy some anti-poison fruits, then buy a few thousand types of poisons, and then create a poison god. Who wouldn't be convinced by that?" Chao Qiu thought for a moment. "That makes sense. Shall we go shopping tomorrow?" Han Fei shook his head. "Go buy top-level anti-poison fruits tomorrow. I'm afraid that even if I have money, I might not be able to buy it. I've already researched it for you. There are top-grade anti-poison fruits in the logistics division. But it's too expensive. Do you know how many points it costs?" Chao Chiu asked in a daze. How many points? Han Fei extended 8 fingers. I've checked them all. The top-level anti-poison fruit, 1000 poison fruit, is worth 8 million points. In the logistics division, high-quality pearls are not allowed to be used to buy it. How many points do you have right now? Stunned for a moment, Chao Chiu looked at his waist tag. 50,000 points. I just got them today. Han Fei was stunned. He quickly looked at his waist tag. It showed that he had 176,542 points, 50,000 more than this morning. Han Fei was lost for words. Why don't you have any points at all? Chao Chiu said, I didn't fight. So, I don't have any other points. Han Fei wanted to cover his head. Yang Dao, why did you send such a useless guy to be my equal? Isn't it better for me to be the captain? Han Fei sighed. Fine, you can go buy some anti-poison fruits and poisons tomorrow. It will be best if you can develop the latest batch of Poison God. Then I'll take you with me, and you'll take the Poison God. Let's go on a killing spree and intimidate the sea demons. Chao Chiu was instantly amused. That's fine. But what are you going to do tomorrow? Didn't we say that we were going to discuss a half-year plan? Han Fei sneered. What plan? I'll watch it tomorrow morning. You're not leading the team, and I can't lead them all by myself. What can I do? I can only refine ultra-quality spiritual weapons for them to improve their combat ability and survivability, right? Chao Chiu showed admiration. I heard everything just now. You refine ultra-quality spiritual weapons for them and allow them to owe you. That will definitely boost their morale. Han Fei snorted and thought to himself, what do you know? You don't even know how profitable it is. The next day, everybody was gathered. Although the column expressed deep doubts about whether or not Han Fei and Chao Chiu could lead the team well, Han Fei and Chao Chiu were captains after all. However, Han Fei and Chao Chiu were captains after all, and both of them had 4 stars. In terms of status, they were higher than them, so they had to listen to their orders. At this moment, Han Fei stood before everyone with a gloomy face. Last night, Deputy Captain Chao and I thought hard for a whole night. We designed dozens of plans and rejected dozens of plans. Chao Chiu tilted his head and looked at Han Fei. Did we? Didn't we just chat for a while and then go to eat hot pot? Han Fei said solemnly. After thinking for a long time, I suddenly feel that the plan can't keep up with the changes. I want to ask you a few questions. Please answer them enthusiastically. Who can tell me why you appeared on the skeleton shore? What's the purpose of your garrison here? Han Fei's eyes lit up. Yu Lingyun answer. Yu Lingyun immediately straightened up. Our appearance on the skeleton shore was naturally arranged by the higher-ups. The purpose of our garrison here is naturally to prevent the invasion of sea demons. Han Fei immediately said angrily, wrong. Yu Lingyun's answer is a typical negative example. Everyone, keep it in mind. Yu Lingyun was speechless. Why did it become a negative example? She couldn't help but ask, what's wrong? Han Fei said, let me ask you again, why did you come to the Scattered Stars Island? Yu Lingyun said without thinking, of course because I'm strong enough, so I was arranged to come here. Han Fei looked at the others and asked, is your answer the same? Yes. Weren't we all arranged to come here? There's nothing wrong with this answer. They were all confused. Was there anything wrong with Yu Lingyun's answer? Han Fei said regretfully, you! What's wrong with your brains? Who has the right to arrange for you? Your life is your own. Why should you give it to others? As soon as he said that, everyone was shocked. Someone said, what we're doing on the Scattered Stars Island is protecting the safety of the billions of people in the 36 towns and the 1,000-star city. Han Fei sneered. Can you protect their safety? You've become a blind follower. You've all forgotten the purpose of your cultivation. You're cultivating to become strong and to live forever. You're not born to be warriors. You can also pursue the path of cultivation. Are there ordinary people who can come to the scattered stars island? You're all heavenly talents and used to be the pride of countless people. Why do you not have the ambition to make progress now? Yu Lingyun said, who says we don't? We work hard to kill enemies and earn points for growth. This is also an experience. Someone said, yes. We've always been getting stronger. Someone smiled and said, Captain Han, we used to be frontline warriors. It was because of our excellent performance that we became senior scouts. Han Fei sneered. Do you think this is fast? Do you think this is excellent? Immediately, Han Fei stretched out his hand and stabbed 30 blue sea wandering dragon daggers into the ground. Then, the blood-drinking knife hung on his waist, the water-dividing seal in his left hand, the brick in his right hand, and an ultra-quality battle suit appeared on his body. Han Fei pointed to the gorgeous equipment on his body and said, You call that excellent? That's what I call excellent. Then, Han Fei glanced at Chao Chiu and gave him a hint. Chao Chiu immediately took the hint, and with a swish, an ultra-quality armor. The armor that even covered his head wrapped his whole body. Then, he stabbed a big shield into the ground, and in his hand was an ultra-quality long knife with a blue phantom on it. Han Fei said, Look, this is excellent. At that time, the people of the 8th Battalion were blinded by so many ultra-quality spiritual weapons. Chao Chiu was stunned and thought to himself, Han Fei's outfit is not bad. He can even compare with me. Han Fei was also shocked. This guy didn't even wear a F*King battlesuit but put on armor? Someone said, Captain Han, aren't you bullying us? We are all ordinary people. How can we get so many spiritual weapons? And all of them have sealed spirit. Someone smiled bitterly. Captain Han, don't show off like this. Han Fei sneered again. Do you think my family gave me these clothes? I, Han Fei, was born in a small village. How could my family have the ability to make me this outfit? Someone didn't believe him. Didn't you say you have an elder? Han Fei nodded. Yes, I have an elder, but why would an elder help you? Han Fei put away these ultra-quality spiritual weapons. Let me tell you, when I only had low-quality spiritual weapons, I tried to get mid-quality spiritual weapons. When I have mid-quality spiritual weapons, I will find a way to get high-quality spiritual weapons. When I have high-quality spiritual weapons, I will get ultra-quality ones. Later, I will get divine weapons. How? Secret realms, killing the enemy, looting. I mean looting the enemy. Han Fei said earnestly, I got these by myself. Now you all have ready-made 3-star refiners here. Shouldn't each of you get an ultra-quality spiritual weapon? When you have an ultra-quality spiritual weapon, you have to find a way to get a second one. If you have weapons, you can get clothes. If you have clothes, you can get shoes. If you have shoes, you can get a helmet. As long as you can make sure you don't die, you can get anything. How to make sure you don't die? Of course, you have to get more and more ultra-quality equipment to protect yourself, right? In the beginning, Han Fei was still talking. A quarter of an hour later, the entire 8th Battalion had begun to line up. Han Fei was taking a small notebook and writing. Well, Liu Yang of the 7th Squad, 1 ultra-quality green sword. Zhang Yang of the 9th Squad, 1 ultra-quality tortoise shield. Su Ying of the 10th Squad, 1 ultra-quality battle suit. Chao Chiu was already dumbfounded. Weren't they talking nicely just now? Why are they all running to me on credit now? The 3rd chapter. Asking for votes. Add chapters at the normal time at night. Don't rush me, don't rush me. I have to write. I'm not a robot with no soul. My thoughts can't keep racing like a small motor. End of this chapter. Chapter 636. Han Fei's dream finally came true. On the first day when he became the deputy captain of the 8th Battalion, all the members became his core customers. The big business of 287 ultra-quality spiritual weapons allowed Han Fei to earn nearly 500,000 points a day. This was the first day, and more people paid Han Fei with materials and spiritual spring. All the materials added up were actually enough for Han Fei to refine more than 400 ultra-quality spiritual weapons. Of course, Han Fei didn't pay nothing. Even with the income from the spiritual spring, Han Fei estimated that he still had to pay 80 million points of spiritual energy to complete so many orders. In fact, Han Fei only got a lot of points and more than 100 ultra-quality spiritual weapon materials. After registering the account book, Han Fei immediately shouted, "Everyone." Han Fei said loudly, "Everyone, your Captain Chow said last night that for the sake of everyone's safety, he can provide each of you with a vial of the strongest poison in history for free, known as the Poison King. A single drop of it can make creatures above level 40 lose their combat power. Let's welcome Captain Chow's poison with a round of applause." Clap, clap, clap. In an instant, thunderous applause broke out. Someone grinned. "Captain Chow, good job." Someone sighed. "How powerful is the poison that can force the heavenly talents of the 1,000-star city to retreat?" Someone smiled. "Good, good, good. Today I have one more trump card." "Captain Chow, you are so kind." Chao Chiu was stunned and then said to Han Fei via voice transmission, "When did I say I was going to give the Poison King to him?" Han Fei replied, "You are new here and are not familiar with the place. I'm afraid you won't be convinced. I'm just thinking for you. After giving the Poison King to him, you can say that you have lost all your money and are going to sell poison. In this way, you won't have to go to the battlefield, right?" Hearing this, Chao Chiu felt that it was true, but he still felt that he had been cheated. Yes, Chao Chiu felt that he must have been cheated. Han Fei had made a lot of money for himself, but he sold himself. Damn it. For 7 days in a row, Han Fei handed the entire 8th Battalion to Chao Chiu, saying that he was going to find someone to help him refine these ultra-quality spiritual weapons quickly. And Chao Chiu was a lazy person, so it was impossible for him to go to sea. He boasted that he had used up all of his king of poisons and that he needed to invent a god of poisons to poison the entire skeleton shore. As a matter of fact, the two of them slipped away on the first day of their official assignment, leaving the people of the 8th Battalion trembling in fear. Many people couldn't help but wonder, will Han Fei run away with the money? Almost half of everyone's belongings had been handed over to Han Fei, and they didn't even have a single cent of points left. As a result, the entire 8th Battalion was now a pauper, each and every one of them owed a huge debt. As a result, the 8th Battalion no longer had any rest days, and no one gambled anymore. Every morning and night there would be people wandering along the coast. It wasn't common to see 300 people come out in full force. The 8th Battalion, which had suddenly erupted, spent 7 days to dig out all the creatures that could be taken from the skeleton shore and turn them into points. At this moment, 200 kilometers away from the skeleton shore, Han Fei was hiding at the bottom of the sea, holding a fish skin map in his hand, and a level 44 creature was chained to his feet. Yes, this Zhao Qin needed a poison ink octopus as an artifact spirit. A big client with a creature above level 40. "I'll seal it," after a moment. "Huh. A level 39 arrow heart shell, it should be this one. I'll seal it. Oh. This seems to be a level 43 sand skin shrimp, a big client. I'll seal it." Yes, Han Fei pretended to find someone to refine weapons, but in fact, he came to the sea alone to seal creatures. Of course, he wouldn't go to the Scattered Stars 4th Unit to ask for help. He was a diligent and thrifty person, so he naturally had to do this kind of small task of finding a sealed creature by himself. When Han Fei was about to find a blue spirit shrimp, his face suddenly changed slightly. Am I going to make a breakthrough?" Han Fei was overjoyed. The upper limit of his spiritual energy had finally reached a limit. The surging of spiritual energy in his body was a sign of a natural breakthrough. Immediately, Han Fei called out the 9-tailed mantis shrimp, little gold, little fatty, little black, and little white. Han Fei instructed, "Protect me. I'm going to make a breakthrough." Han Fei had been waiting for this for a long time. Although this breakthrough was not perfect, he was one step closer to becoming a hanging fisher. If he went one step further, he could continue to deduce the 5th level of the void fishing art. At that time, if possible, his indestructible body could be further improved, and he should be a little closer to the triple barrier that Ren Tianfen mentioned. At the bottom of the sea, Han Fei set up a concealment array and a defense array, put on a layer of 6 spirits' armor, and sat cross-legged. At that moment, spiritual energy suddenly gathered from the sea within a radius of dozens of kilometers. In Forge the Universe, 10 high-quality spiritual stones were broken at once. The moment Han Fei made a breakthrough. More than 200 kilometers away from the skeleton shore, nearly 300 kilometers away, a lot of big sword water fleas, tide-calling crabs, bone corrosion worms, and other creatures drilled out from the ground in all directions. Little Black rushed out immediately. Every time he opened his mouth, a creature would die. The 9-tailed mantis shrimp's 9-star chain swept across, protecting Han Fei. Little Gold was like a blade warrior. His wings had turned into sharp blades, and he was killing the bone-eroding worms with ease. Little Fatty was the laziest, lying on the ground reluctantly. However, whenever a creature approached, it would immediately entangle it with its tentacles and suck it to death. 3 legendary creatures and 1 mysterious creature, Little Black, were almost invincible in the coastal waters. However, Han Fei chose to make a breakthrough in the sea. If it were anyone else, it would be very dangerous to make a breakthrough in the sea. Because once spiritual energy gathered, it would inevitably attract a large number of marine creatures. This was impossible. Half an hour after Han Fei chose to make a breakthrough, a fishing boat passed by in the sky. On the fishing boat, the members of the 12th Squad of the 8th Battalion looked at each other in bewilderment. Liang Qiu, the captain, looked puzzled. There is a creature at the bottom of the sea making a breakthrough. However, my perception seems to be blocked. There should be an array protecting it. A team member was shocked. Could it be a sea demon? Only sea demons would choose to make a breakthrough in the sea. Someone pointed to the sea and said, "Look, the creature below seems to be very strong. Within 100 meters, there are broken limbs and wreckage. There seems to be some kind of fierce battle below." A team member suddenly exclaimed, "Look, that's a 3-headed shark. It was strangled to death by an underwater creature." Everyone's face darkened. The 3-headed shark was a very strong and rare creature, at least level 45. But the 3-headed shark was not the only creature that died here. Basalt conches, arrow heart shells, snake pattern fish, fiery fish. All of them died. Liang Qiu shouted, "Let's go back and report." "Captain, but Captain Han and Captain Chao are not here." Liang Qiu frowned. Han Fei must have gone to refine weapons. But Chao Qiu, isn't he refining poison not far from the camp? Pull him out and hold him off first. Not long after Liang Qiu and the others left, under the water, a hand suddenly grabbed a harpoon, and with a backhand, the harpoon shot back. The harpoon broke through the air and appeared in front of an inferior manfish in the blink of an eye. However, like spiritual energy, the harpoon didn't bite its master. Therefore, the moment it hit the inferior manfish, it melted into its body. However, what followed the harpoon was a knife light, which was the draw technique of the blood-drinking knife. Before the inferior manfish had time to run, it was cut into 2 pieces. Han Fei saw several other inferior manfish in the distance, quickly disappearing from his sight. He didn't stop them. It was said that inferior manfish were common creatures in the level 3 fishery. Even if they ran away, it shouldn't be a big problem. On his wrist, the demon purification pot was crazily absorbing the nearby spiritual energy. Han Fei stood where he was, and a string of information popped up. Owner Han Fei level greater than 39, peak level dangling fisher, spiritual energy greater than 182,655, 7668, spiritual power 1299/1299, perception range greater than 9,999 meters, spiritual heritage, level 5, high-quality spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish, level 36, main art void-breaking technique, volume 4 of void fishing, demon level, divine quality. Han Fei was stunned to find that his upper limit of spiritual energy had increased by more than 600 points. Can I have an upper limit of 8,000 points of spiritual energy when I become a hanging fisher? As far as Han Fei knew, the upper limit of spiritual energy represented the strength of the body and the standard of spiritual energy it could hold. But not everyone would have a stronger physique with a higher upper limit. For example, Han Fei asked Xia Shaochan what the upper limit of spiritual energy was when she was a peak-level dangling fisher, and Xia Shaochan answered that it was a little more than 5,000 points. Although it hadn't reached the upper limit, it could probably reach about 5,500 points, which was already extremely rare for a genius. But was Xia Shaochan's physique strong? Of course not. What was terrifying about Xia Shaochan was her instantaneous explosive power. Her mobilization and eruption of spiritual energy were much stronger than others. Han Fei couldn't help murmuring, "My upper limit is quite high. What I've become stronger is my physique, meridians, and the purity of spiritual energy. It should be not much different from others, but I don't know what it's like when I become a hanging fisher. I have to go back and ask." 7 days passed in a flash. When Han Fei came back, the entire camp of the 8th Battalion was empty, as if it had been abandoned. Han Fei immediately rushed to the coast. As soon as he arrived there, he heard someone arguing on the watchtower not far away. "It's my turn. It's time to scavenge the sea." "It's my turn. Didn't you just go there 3 hours ago?" "I haven't been there for 10 hours. "What are you talking about? You changed the time with me before. Have you forgotten?" "Brother, I only got 2,000 points in 7 days. How can it be enough for me to pay back the money?" "Brother, I sympathize with you, but I can't help you. I only got 1,500 points in 7 days. Who am I going to cry to?" "Forget it. Let's play rock, paper, scissors. After all, the watchtower can't be empty. A few days ago, there was an abnormal movement 300 kilometers away. Maybe something will happen in the next few days. If we fail to do our duty, we'll be doomed." Just when the two were arguing, they heard Han Fei shouting below, "Hey! Where is everyone? Where is everyone?" The two of them looked down and were immediately startled. "Captain Han, you're back?" The other person's eyes flickered. "Wow. Captain Han, could it be? How is it possible? Has it been refined?" Han Fei said haggardly, "Of course, you don't know how many connections I made. In just 7 days, he had refined nearly 300 supreme-grade spiritual weapons. Do you know how tired I am? Alas. Hurry up and call everyone back. It's time to distribute the spiritual weapons." A chapter of more than 3,000 words. Now the average word count is about 3,000. The next chapter will be about 10 o'clock. Thank you for your support. End of this chapter. Chapter 637. Beat. The two people on the watchtower were dumbfounded. After a long time, they picked up the conch horn excitedly and blew it. After a moment, under the watchtower, 252 people gathered here, and the scene was quite chaotic. "Captain Han, have you really refined it? Captain Han, hurry up. I can't wait." All of them have sealed their spirits? Seeing this group of people so excited, Han Fei couldn't help asking, "Where are the others? Why haven't they come?" A captain smiled bitterly. "Half of the rest are scouting at sea and the other half have diarrhea." "Huh!" Han Fei was stunned. "Diarrhea?" Someone immediately shook his head. "Captain Han, Captain Chao is really scary. 2 days ago, Liang Qiu, the captain of the 12th Squad, detected abnormal movements in the sea. You were not there at that time, so she naturally went to find Captain Chao. Guess what? Before she went to Captain Chow, she was poisoned one by one. It has been the third day. Speaking of Chow Chio, many people looked horrified. At this moment, no one doubted that he was very poisonous. Han Fei was dumbfounded. Didn't Chow Chio give them the antidote? Someone smiled bitterly. How could there be an antidote? When Liang Chio and the others were poisoned, Captain Chow said that the antidote hadn't been made yet. Fortunately, only a little bit of poisonous gas escaped, and we could barely resist it with the anti-poison fruit. Now Captain Chow is trying his best to make the antidote, hoping to save Liang Chio and the others as soon as possible. Hearing this, Han Fei decided to forget it. He'd better not see Chow Chio these days. You haven't even made the damn antidote, but you have already thrown out the poison. Is this reasonable? Han Fei didn't care anymore. As he waved his hand, a pile of ultra-quality spiritual weapons fell to the ground with a clatter. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Because many of them are advanced spiritual weapons with sealed spirits, they are full of spiritual energy. At this moment, a few spiritual weapons are shaking consciously and seem to want to escape. Han Fei immediately raised his hand, and the embroidery needle was pressed against the pile of spiritual weapons, making them unable to move. Han Fei said, "Now I'm going to report your names one by one. Come one by one and give me your points in the past few days. You don't know how poor I am." "Captain Han, we are also poor. We're working hard to earn points." "Captain Han, don't panic. With an ultra-quality spiritual weapon with a sealed soul, our ability to earn points will be brought to a new level." Seeing the bitterness on Han Fei's face, someone comforted him like this, thinking to himself, "I can't let this rich captain collapse." However, they had no idea that Han Fei was already overjoyed. He was thinking that it was too easy to make money, suing, "I accidentally found an ice crystal shellfish and sealed it in your battlesuit. You've made a fortune." "Thank you, Captain Han. These are my points. I only have 2,100 points for now. I'll go earn more." Han Fei collected the points calmly and then continued, "Wang Chao, according to what you said, tuna is hard to find. The price I charged you was too low." Wang Chao was grinning from ear to ear. "Captain Han, don't panic. These are my points. I only have 2,300 for now. However, I got 100 caddies of spirit spring water today. I'll give it all to you." Han Fei took it calmly. Okay, next, after a while, Han Fei saw that the number on his waist tag had become 1,165,820 points. In just 7 days, although he had spent a lot of points, he had earned points really fast. In just a few days, he had already earned more than 1 million points. Wouldn't I be rich in a month? Han Fei thought that he should go to Quang in a few days and ask him if he could get the 1,000 poison fruit at a cheaper price. That thing was much stronger than the 1,000 poison fruit and the venomous tulip. A spiritual fruit was worth 8 million points. What did 8 million points mean? In theory, it could be exchanged for a centurion. The price of a 7-star waist tag could only buy one fruit. How exaggerated was this? However, its quality was really shocking. It was said to be immune to all poisons, which showed its effect. On this side, a large number of people were refining their ultra-quality spiritual weapons, and a few people hadn't finished refining yet. Those who had already refined were showing off their weapons crazily. Someone shouted, "Look, my poisonous ink octopus can even make spiritual weapons poisonous." Someone sneered, "That's nothing. Look at mine. It even has a spiritual stab." Someone laughed, "No matter how powerful it is, it can't break my ultra-quality battle suit." Just when everyone was making a fuss, suddenly, they saw someone controlling a fishing boat to fly back quickly. "Come on, manfish, the manfish are coming." Lu Bin, the captain of the 7th squad, was shouting. After seeing Han Fei, he jumped down directly. Lu Bin looked horrified. "Captain Han, a large group of manfish is rushing over, carrying tens of thousands of blue-patterned armored shrimps. They are charging." Han Fei's face changed. How many man-fish are there? How did they get here? Lu Bin shrugged. As far as I can see, there are hundreds of them. Han Fei immediately shouted, release level 1 red smoke and ask for reinforcements. Everyone get on the fishing boat and attack with me. By the way, someone go and call Chao Chiu. Tell him that if he doesn't come, I will stuff him into the mouth of the man-fish. Han Fei was in a bad mood. I've just given out all the supreme-grade spiritual weapons, and these people are all my big customers now. You're telling me the Murlocs are charging now? What if these people died at that time? On the fishing boat, Han Fei said to everyone, fight in the sky. Armorists, protect your teammates. Remember to use the Poison King in your hand. Remember to save your life first. Han Fei was the first to rush out. His perception range was wider. If they were just ordinary inferior manfish, he wouldn't be afraid. He could rush into the formation with the infinity water alone and poison them to death. Yu Lingyun chased after him. Captain, why are you running so fast alone? Wu Xiaoxiao said, Captain, we are a team. Han Fei nodded. I'll go explore the way first. You stay in the rear. Be careful. The fishing boat broke through the sky and went 150 kilometers away, where Han Fei found a large number of blue and white striped crabs. On these big crabs, a few manfish looked up at the sky, and some manfish shot at him with harpoons. Han Fei sneered. Level 45 inferior manfish, they're not friendly. Han Fei was naturally not afraid of inferior manfish of this level. He ignored those harpoons and rushed all the way to the rear of the army of manfish, until a flash of red light broke through the air. That terrifying speed was in front of him in the blink of an eye. The ordinary fishing boat that Han Fei was using had a big hole drilled out. If Han Fei hadn't dodged quickly, this harpoon would have fallen on him. Damn, asshole, you forced me to do this. The red demon was extremely strong, but judging from the strength of the harpoon just now, this manfish shouldn't be more than level 50. Immediately, Han Fei's fishing boat turned, and heavy rain fell from the sky and the Poison King poured down. Giggle, hearing the red demon's cry, the blue-patterned armored lobsters dived one after another, and the ordinary inferior manfish jumped into the water one after another. Han Fei frowned. Does this red demon know that I'm going to release poison? Why? However, Han Fei was not afraid at all. Do you think my infinity water is like heavy rain? With a thought, I can turn the sea into knives. Han Fei leaped into the air and plunged into the sea. At the moment Han Fei entered the water, the seawater turned into knives, stretching for 100 meters. As soon as Han Fei entered the water, 7 or 8 harpoons shot at him. However, with the protection of the ultra-quality battle suit and the 6 spirit armor, Han Fei simply ignored these attacks and swam wildly in the water. However, in less than 10 minutes, the red demon had already swum to 100 meters away from Han Fei. While tentatively attacking the infinity water, it stared at Han Fei. Han Fei sneered. Come on. If you don't come, I'll kill your army first. The Poison King had covered a lot of blue-patterned armored lobsters through the infinity water. Although the carapace of this kind of lobster was particularly hard, it couldn't withstand the internal melting. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of blue-patterned armored shrimps were killed, but none of the inferior manfish were hit. Under the command of the Red Demon, they all stayed far away from Han Fei. Han Fei was speechless. Am I a scourge? I'm just a peak-level dangling fisher. Why are you hiding from me? Suddenly, Han Fei's heart trembled. Oh no, does this Red Demon know me? As soon as this idea came out, Han Fei was shocked. Could it be that he was too arrogant during the tide of red ghosts and was noticed by a red demon who was secretly observing him? The more Han Fei thought about it, the more likely it was. Looking at the invasion of the inferior manfish, 10,000 blue-patterned armored lobsters and 100 inferior manfish came to attack the skeleton shore? That was absolutely impossible, but the other party still came, which meant, was this a test? Damn it! Han Fei immediately jumped out of the sea and shouted to the fishing boats of the 8th Battalion that had already flown over, "Stay in the sky and fight the enemy with fishing skills." However, when the captains of the 8th Battalion saw that there were not many inferior manfish, they immediately looked overjoyed. "They only have this many in total. Brothers, let's kill them." For the 8th Battalion, 10,000 blue-patterned armored lobsters were not weak, but they were not afraid of them. Besides, Han Fei had already run into the sea. Of course, they thought this attack was not that powerful. But just when someone was about to dive down, a red figure also jumped out of the water and shot the harpoon in his hand at a captain. Swish! The battle soul bow was drawn, and the spiritual energy arrow turned into a stream of light and shot the red demon's harpoon away with a bang. Han Fei said angrily, "I told you to surround them, not to rush down. If anyone disobeys my order again, I will never refine weapons for him again." In fact, when they saw the red demon, the people who were about to dive down immediately flew up. The red demon was not something they could deal with now. Han Fei pointed his arrow at the red demon. "Just you! How dare you ruin my plan? You and these damn crabs won't be able to leave today." A 3,000-word chapter. Please wait for tomorrow. Thank you for your support. End of this chapter. Chapter 638. As far as Han Fei's current strength was concerned, the control range of the infinity water was limited. Once it exceeded 500 meters, it would be difficult for it to work. So, Han Fei stacked his fists and rushed at the red demon. But to Han Fei's surprise, when the red demon saw Han Fei coming, it didn't fight Han Fei at all but kept condensing seawater spears and shooting them at Han Fei. After all, it was a strong inferior manfish, and Han Fei didn't use his full strength. The two ran in the sea one after the other. The red demon didn't intend to fight Han Fei, and Han Fei's purpose was not to fight but to stall this red demon and prevent it from attacking the other people of the 8th Battalion. As for the remaining inferior manfish, Han Fei was confident that they didn't have the ability to slaughter the 8th Battalion. After all, the 8th Battalion had nearly 300 people, all of whom were hanging fishers. Now that they had ultra-quality spiritual weapons, they wouldn't be afraid of 100 inferior manfish. Just as Han Fei was chasing, Chao Chiu had already flown over with his fishing boat. This guy flew high and didn't intend to participate in the battle at all. Han Fei immediately shouted to him, "Go control the situation, command the battle, and pay attention to whether there is a second red demon. When the rescue comes, I will stall this red demon." Hearing this, Chao Chiu quickly responded, Okay. Just do your thing. Don't worry about me." After a while, Han Fei and the red demon had chased 100 kilometers away, and the distance between the two was still more than 800 meters. The red demon's level was too high, so Han Fei didn't plan to let Little Black attack it. Han Fei said to it via voice transmission, "Do you know how to talk? You came here to test me this time, right? How is it? What's the result?" The red demon muttered something to Han Fei, which made Han Fei's head hurt. "Don't talk nonsense to me. I don't understand. By the way, why do you know me?" "Gulyalu," Han Fei sneered. "If you keep talking to me, I will go back. Tell me, what's your purpose in luring me here?" Han Fei was perceiving the surroundings and making sure there was no ambush around, so he wasn't afraid of a red demon. If this guy had broken through level 50, Han Fei wouldn't have come out with it. But an inferior manfish equivalent to a peak-level hanging fisher couldn't kill him in one blow. As long as it couldn't kill him in one blow, it would be easy for him to escape. "Gulyalu," Han Fei said angrily, "I've told you that I don't understand you at all. Just shut up." Suddenly, Han Fei perceived that a half-mermaid was swimming close from 5,000 meters away. Han Fei's face changed slightly and he quickly retreated. It was fine if the inferior manfish came, but if the real mermaids came, he would have to deal with them carefully. While Han Fei was flying back, a voice sounded in his mind. Human Han Fei's expression changed. Han Fei's words. Fei's words. Han Fei immediately rushed back, jumped out of the water, and got on the fishing boat. The moment he returned to the battlefield, Han Fei roared, "Everybody, retreat to within 50 kilometers of the shore and obey my orders." From Han Fei, but the manfish, the demon for him. As Han Fei from Han Shao as he as. The leader was a peak-level hanging fisher. He glanced at Han Fei. "Wu Yong of the 92nd Guards Regiment, why did you retreat? I'm afraid there's an ambush. There's more than one red demon." Wu Yong's face changed and he immediately shouted, "Everyone, retreat." Then Wu Yong came to Han Fei. "How many? Where are they?" Han Fei looked back. "If my guess is correct, there should be a sea demon at the level of a hidden fisher." I retreated quickly. "I think it should be a trap." Wu Yong's face changed drastically. "A hidden fisher-level sea demon? Then we have to call for reinforcements." Han Fei shook his head. "Not yet. Let's see if they chase after us." In the distance, the red demon stood on the sea, looking at them coldly, with no intention of coming over. Han Fei and Wu Yong's eyes narrowed. Both of them saw a figure underwater, quickly swimming to the deep sea. Until the figure left, the red demon got into the water and followed. Wu Yong took a deep breath. "Did you meet that one?" Han Fei shook his head. "No, but I sensed it. I'm fast, so I ran faster." Han Fei didn't tell them that it was a half-mermaid, let alone that the half-mermaid wanted to talk to him. For some reason, he felt that this matter was strange. Why did the half-mermaid come to him? Why did it want to talk to him? What the hell? From 5,000 meters away, it could perceive him and send him a voice transmission, which showed that the half-mermaid was definitely much stronger than the red demon. Although he had become a peak-level dangling fisher, he had no confidence in facing a hidden fisher-level creature, let alone fighting it. Therefore, no matter whether the half-mermaid really wanted to talk to him or if it was just a trap, he wouldn't stay there. However, now that the half-mermaid and the red demon had left, the attack of the inferior manfish this time had been confirmed to be a test. Those ordinary inferior manfish and blue-patterned armored lobsters were just cannon fodder for the test. Therefore, Han Fei ordered the whole army to attack. With Han Fei's order, the members of the 8th Battalion jumped into the sea one after another. "Little fish, I'll kill you. Have a taste of the big axe I just got. My ultra-quality rod is invincible." Next door, the members of the 92nd Garrison Regiment were all stunned. In midair, on the sea, there were flashing lights everywhere. In the hands of all the members of the 8th Battalion, spiritual energy radiated everywhere, and the phantoms of sea creatures were flying in the air. Wu Yong of the 92nd Garrison Regiment looked at Han Fei in astonishment. At this moment, Chao Chiu flew down from the sky and landed beside Han Fei. "Is it over? Originally, I wanted to try out my new poison." Han Fei rolled his eyes at him. "Have you developed the antidote?" Chao Chiu scratched his head. "Not yet. About 80% of the antidote." Han Fei was speechless. "Give me some poison god later. You can continue to study the antidote." Then Han Fei shouted to everyone, "Today, everyone has come out and the danger has been lifted. Let's clean up the periphery of the skeleton shore and kill as many as we can." "Okay. That's great. Let's test the weapon." More than 300 hanging fishers plunged into the sea one after another. This battle was a hardy one. Hundreds of inferior manfish, and nearly 5,000 blue-patterned armored shrimps in perfect condition were simply a godsend. In this battle alone, they had earned nearly 300,000 points, and on average, each person could get about 1,000 points. Coupled with the hunting of all the members of the 8th Battalion, they could get nearly 1,500 points today. Of course, no matter how they divided the points and how they hunted, all the points belonged to Han Fei, and they were still poor. After sending Chao Chiu away, Han Fei hung in the sky alone, deep in thought. Wu Yong's words reminded him. He had never heard of a red demon coming to the skeleton shore before. Wasn't it said that the inferior manfish of that level were thousands of miles away from the coast or even farther? Han Fei suddenly thought of something. Did the inferior manfish see me when I made the breakthrough 2 days ago? But I just made a breakthrough. So what if they saw me? Could this also attract creatures at the level of the red demon? The more Han Fei thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong. If the red demon really noticed this place, there was no reason for it to end after just a test. There must be a second wave. Thinking of this, Han Fei immediately prepared to send a voice transmission to the others. However, when he perceived there were less than 30 people left within 5,000 meters of him, Han Fei gritted his teeth. They were all crazy poor. Han Fei immediately sent a voice transmission, controlled the fishing boat to swing around, and sent a voice transmission to the others one by one. Gather at the camp, gather at the camp. The first chapter. More than 3,000 characters. Asking for votes, end of this chapter. Chapter 639. Skeleton Shore Camp. Han Fei asked with a dark face, "What I'm going to say next may be a bit scary. Now I need you to calm down immediately. Don't think about getting points." Wu Xiaoxiao asked, "Captain, what happened? If I'm right, our skeleton shore has been targeted by the red demons. And there's more than one." "Huh! Wow. More than one? How come? Why are the red demons targeting our skeleton shore?" All the teams were shocked. It was fine for him to beat up regular sea creatures and inferior manfish, but the red demon had already exceeded their strength. If nothing went wrong, even if hundreds of them attacked together, they might not be able to trap a red demon. Even if they fought desperately, dozens of them would die before they had a chance to catch a red demon. So, when Han Fei said that the skeleton shore was targeted by the red demons, who wouldn't be scared? Han Fei was helpless. "I didn't mean to surprise you. Once a red demon invades, I can only block one at most. Many of you will die. Our 8th Battalion only has so many people in total. We can't afford to lose so many people, so I remind you that if something goes wrong, use all your life-saving skills. Poison King Ji Xing, use it." Someone suggested, "Change teams. Should we find someone to help us?" Han Fei shook his head. "We don't know when the red demons will come. They can't stay here all the time." Someone suggested, "We can ask the higher-ups to send a strong master." Han Fei sneered. "If you know that the red demons will come tomorrow, that's fine." Someone was distressed. "Without help, we can't beat them. Our skeleton shore is so small that we don't even have enough space to set up traps." Han Fei's eyes suddenly lit up. Traps are good." The man shook his head. "No, what kind of trap can trap and kill a red demon? Unless we find a powerful array master to set up a powerful killing array." Han Fei immediately thought of something. "A killing array?" Ling Hui suddenly said, "A killing array is useless. If a red demon goes out, the army will definitely attack, and the killing array will be destroyed immediately." Wu Xiaoxiao asked, "What about poison? Isn't Captain Chao the poison god?" Chao Qiu was still confused. "Don't drag me into the fight." Han Fei nodded. "Chao Qiu, I'll leave the poison god to you. How many have you made?" Chao Qiu shrugged. "Only about 100 kilograms. How powerful is it?" Chao Qiu nodded. "He's several times better than the Poison King. Give them all to me." Chao Qiu was helpless. "I just made it." Han Fei looked at Chao Qiu. "We're in a life-and-death situation. Why are you so hesitant? Do you want to die?" Chao Qiu sighed. "Alas. Fine. I'll give it to you. However, the antidote has not been completely developed yet, so it will probably take a few more days." With that, Chao Qiu handed Han Fei a sea-swallowing seashell. Han Fei took it without hesitation. If he was really targeted, this thing would definitely be of great use. Seeing that they couldn't give a reason, Han Fei ordered them to disperse. What really worried Han Fei was not the attack of the red demons. Han Fei was worried that all his clients would be killed. If so, wouldn't he suffer a huge loss? He was determined not to allow this kind of thing to happen, so he had to use it to scare them. If these people were hot-headed, they would do it. That night, Han Fei went to find Xia Xiaochan. The location of the Dark Hunter Legion was a secret, and Han Fei didn't know where it was. He had heard from Xia Xiaochan several times that it was not fixed. However, most of the time, it was somewhere near the coast in the south of the Transverse Mountain. Han Fei tried using the communication waste tag for a long time and finally received a reply from Xia Xiaochan in the west of the Transverse Mountain and the Twisted Forest, near the south coast of the sea. After a moment, Xia Xiaochan appeared in front of Han Fei. "Why did you come to see me today? Did you miss me because I didn't come to the last party?" Han Fei grinned. "Of course, I can't wait to kidnap you now." Then Han Fei looked at Master Hexagon, who was moving behind Xia Xiaochan. "Don't hide." "What's the use of hiding?" "I'm not hiding. I just want to sleep." Han Fei reached out, took off the hexagon starfish, and put it on his shoulder. "Xia Xiaochan, do you need it recently?" Xia Xiaochan nodded. "Not much, but big starfish are still useful." Han Fei pondered for a moment. "I'll take it with me today. There's a little accident on my side, and I need to set up some arrays." Xia Xiaochan was smiling just now, but her face suddenly changed. "You're in trouble? How did your waist tag become 4 stars? Cough cough. Han Fei said with a smile. "I accidentally became a 3-star refiner, so I changed my waist tag." Xia Xiaochan was stunned. "Has your secret of refining been exposed?" Han Fei shook his head. "No, I can really refine now. Let's not talk about this. Can you use the divine weapon in your body now?" Xia Xiaochan sighed and said, "I can't. It doesn't listen to me. I'm still using ultra-quality spiritual weapons." Han Fei nodded and then handed out 2 small bottles. "This red bottle is Poison God, the upgraded version of Poison King." Thud. Xia Xiaochan took 3 steps back. "I don't want it." Han Fei said, "Take it. You can use it when you have to. This green bottle is the antidote. However, the antidote can only remove 80% of the effect. It's up to you. I'll take Master Hexagon's starfish away later." Xia Xiaochan said in disgust, "Hurry up and take it away. It asks me for spiritual stones every day. It's so annoying." Han Fei chuckled. "Okay. I'll go back later. Shall we?" Xia Xiaochan rolled her eyes at Han Fei. "How what?" Han Fei took Xia Xiaochan in his arms and was about to flirt with her, when his face suddenly changed and he used the draw technique to leap into the air. Clang! With a crisp collision, sparks flew from the collision of cold light. Han Fei felt a shock on his wrist. The enemy was very strong. Immediately, he punched dozens of golden fist marks, all of which were blocked by a cold light. Xia Xiaochan flashed, and a weird red light appeared in the air in the blink of an eye. Then, a figure appeared in the night. The man clenched his wrist, and blood flowed down his arm. Han Fei narrowed his eyes, full of killing intent. "Who are you? If you don't tell me, I'll kill you." The opponent was not a peak-level hanging fisher, but his strength was not weak. He should be about the strength of an advanced hanging fisher. But Han Fei was not afraid at all. He had even killed a peak-level hanging fisher. Why would he be afraid of an advanced hanging fisher? Xia Xiaochan's face suddenly turned cold and she said angrily, "Gong Wenhai, if you do this again, I'll kill you too." Han Fei frowned. "Are you from the Dark Hunter Legion?" The young man didn't care about what Xia Xiaochan said, but just looked at Han Fei coldly. "Who is he?" Han Fei immediately grinned. "Who did I think he was? It turns out that he is a pursuer of my little wife. However, you have no chance. If you dare to harass my wife again, I will kill you." Gong Wenhai was full of killing intent. "You dare to call me that again?" Han Fei said happily, Little wife, Xia Xiaochan is my little wife. Get out of here! Swish! An extremely fast knife light with soaring killing intent slashed directly at Han Fei. Xia Xiaochan's eyes turned cold. You're courting death. Han Fei's pupils constricted. He activated the majestic mystic spell, activated the draw technique again, and fused the invincible knife intent. Gotcha! Gong Wenhai's knife light full of killing intent was cut through by Han Fei, but the invincible knife intent didn't stop and continued to attack him. Xia Xiaochan had already appeared behind Gong Wenhai at this moment, and a flaming stab stabbed directly at Gong Wenhai's neck. Too late. Xia Xiaochan's knife stabbed into the air, and Gong Wenhai was pushed away. What replaced it was a woman who still retained her charm, but was rather cold and elegant. This woman didn't seem to be very old, only in her 20s, but the 5-star waist tag on her and the strong bloody aura around her reminded Han Fei of a word: bloodguard. Bloodguards were the name of a blood guard. Only those who killed 100 people could become a bloodguard. This woman's strength and aura were even stronger than Zhong Han's. Obviously, she was a peak-level hanging fisher. At this moment, the woman held Xia Xiaochan's dagger with 2 fingers and slashed the crystal-like dagger 9 times in a row, barely blocking Han Fei's draw technique. Interesting. A peak-level dangling fisher can actually suppress an advanced hanging fisher after using a secret method. No wonder Xiaochan likes you. Xia Xiaochan's eyes were cold. Captain Shui ran, why did you stop me? The cold beauty smiled faintly. Do you think I'll let you kill Gong Wenhai? At this moment, Gong Wenhai had already stood up. He was shocked and thought to himself, this guy is clearly a peak-level dangling fisher. How can he defeat me? Just now I almost used my family's secret method. Han Fei glanced at Gong Wenhai indifferently and said leisurely, if this kid doesn't listen to me, I'll kill him sooner or later. Gong Wenhai said, try me. The woman named Shui Ran smirked and said, what a tyrannical person. But aren't you afraid that I'll kill you now? Han Fei sneered. Try me? Second. Asking for votes, end of this chapter. Chapter 640. Han Fei was not afraid of this bloodguard at all. He would have been a little scared before he made the breakthrough. Although he still couldn't beat the bloodguard, he wouldn't be killed immediately. If he ran away, Han Fei would definitely find Wang Dashui to make trouble for him. Han Fei absolutely didn't believe that Wang Dashui's strength was only worthy of a 6-star rank. How could a student from the Thug Academy only be a 6-star? Besides, according to the Thug Academy's character, how could they not protect their own? Let's not talk about the consequences first. It shouldn't be a big problem. Shui Ran suddenly sneered. You're very bold. However, don't provoke me like this in the future. Did you come here today to have a private date with a member of the Dark Hunter Legion? Usually, we have to deal with this matter. Han Fei said lightly, how to deal with it? Shui Ran waved her hand. Forget it. Since you and Xiaochan are a couple and we're not on a mission, you can do whatever you want. But, Xiaochan, remember to come back early. With that, Shui Ran swayed into the darkness, and then she turned her head to look at Gong Wenhai. Why are you still standing here? Don't you feel ashamed enough? Or don't you feel ashamed? Gong Wenhai was still looking at Han Fei coldly, and Xia Xiaochan said, if you do this again, I will stab you to death. But Shui Ran frowned the moment she turned around. This boy's fighting intent is so strong. She believed that even if Gong Wenhai burst out with all his strength, he would at least be seriously injured. If he was slightly weaker, he would have been killed by Han Fei's knife just now. After the two of them left, Han Fei put away the knife and smiled playfully. Not bad. You've only been here for a short time, but you already have die-hard fans. After meeting Xia Xiaochan for less than half an hour, Han Fei hurried back to the skeleton shore. The first thing Han Fei did when he returned to the skeleton shore was to drag Chao Qiu up. The two of them went to the offshore area of the skeleton shore. Chao Qiu looked frightened. What are you doing? I'm making the antidote. I don't want to fight. The point is, it's just the two of us. We can't fight. Chao Chiu muttered. He thought Han Fei was crazy. The red demon was much stronger than him. He didn't think he could beat it. Han Fei said angrily, "Fight? This is called nipping a problem in the bud. If I'm not mistaken, the two of us were targeted by the red demons during the tide of red ghosts. We might even be wanted. If we don't take precautions now, are we going to wait for the sea demons to lead their army here?" Chao Chiu shrugged. "I can't help you. I'll leave all the poison gods to you. I'll head back first." The hexagon starfish was also a little frightened at this moment. Red demon? Starfish couldn't beat it. Starfish doesn't want to fight. Han Fei said gloomily, "Shut up. We're not here to fight, we're here to set up a trap. Count on the junior and intermediate hanging fishers of the 8th Battalion? It's already pretty good if they can block 2 red demons at most, and many of them will definitely die." Chao Chiu said, "Huh? Then why didn't you ask for help? Also, you told them that red demon was coming. What's his purpose?" Han Fei sneered. "I'm just giving them pressure. I don't want them to die because they have an ultra-quality spiritual weapon with a sealed soul." Han Fei thought to himself, "I've worked so hard to cultivate high-quality customers. I can't let them die, at least not this month. I'm counting on them to earn points for me." In the sky, a fishing boat flew over. It was Lu Bin, the captain of the 7th Squad. They were originally a team responsible for night reconnaissance. At this moment, seeing Han Fei and Chao Chiu, of course he ran over and asked them. Lu Bin asked, "Captain Han, Captain Chao, are you going to sea?" Han Fei said lightly, "I suspect that there will be changes in the near future. Let's go to the surrounding area to observe the terrain and see if we can set up an ambush. You continue to patrol." Lu Bin was stunned. "Ambush? Captain Han, can you two do it alone?" Han Fei shrugged. "Don't worry about it. By the way, did you send more people today?" Lu Bin immediately nodded. "Of course. Since we knew that the red demons were here, there have been 8 squads patrolling at night. We dare not neglect them." Han Fei nodded. "Okay. In addition, go back and inform everyone to prepare for battle from tonight. I want everything within 200 kilometers of the offshore area to be under control. Everyone must enter the battlefield as soon as possible." Lu Bin was taken aback. "Captain Han, why do you have to do this?" Han Fei said lightly, "Just go and inform them. It's better to be safe than sorry." Lu Bin looked serious. "Yes." With that, Han Fei continued to move forward until he was more than 100 kilometers away from the coast. Han Fei scanned with his perception and found that there were no exotic creatures nearby, so he dragged Chao Chiu and jumped into the sea. Although Chao Chiu was reluctant, Han Fei was too strong. However, Chao Chiu still asked, "Why are you so sure that there will be sea demons leading an army to attack?" Han Fei smiled. "It's just a feeling. The attack during the day was just a test. The red demon personally led the team, so we can't be careless. It's better to be safe than sorry." In fact, what Han Fei didn't say was that he saw a half-mermaid today. They were coming to negotiate with him. Obviously, they had been targeting him for a long time. It was reasonable to say that the red demon was here, but the half-mermaids shouldn't have appeared here. At every gathering, Luo Xiaobai would analyze the current situation and the situation of their respective garrisons for everyone. Besides, even in such a huge battle as the Tide of Red Ghosts, only a small number of half-mermaids appeared. So, there must be some factors that he didn't know about their appearance here. Underwater, Han Fei directly set up a concealment array and then looked at the hexagon starfish. "You set up a killing array." The hexagon starfish rolled its eyes. "Starfish, I can't. I don't know how to set up a killing array." Han Fei pointed at its big eyes and said, "Are you kidding me? You know, you are with me now. If something were to happen to me, you'd be dead as well. Listen to me, you set up a killing array, and I will set up a concealment array and a spirit gathering array. Let's set up a few big arrays first." With that, Han Fei looked at Chao Chiu. What life-saving means do you have? Give me some. Chao Chiu was confused. I don't have. No, you do. According to Han Fei's understanding of Chao Chiu, since his family threw him to the Scattered Stars Island, they must have given him something. The amulet jade and the immortal seal were all necessities. However, these things might not be able to protect Chao Chiu. Therefore, they must have left him other offensive means. In this way, Chao Chiu could be safely protected. Han Fei said, "Ball. Let me tell you a secret, I seem to have seen a half-mermaid today." Chao Chiu was stunned. How is it possible? Aren't there only red demons? Han Fei said, "Do you understand? I'm not sure. If a half-mermaid comes, why do you think it is? They must be targeting us. Don't forget how many creatures we poisoned during the tide of red ghosts." Chao Chiu shivered immediately. Then, the half-mermaids have to find reinforcements. Han Fei sneered. Reinforcements? I'm not sure about this. Is it useful to find reinforcements? If the reinforcements come, will they come to support us in the future? Besides, if the red demons attack and the poison god doesn't work, the 8th Battalion is very likely to be wiped out. Do you think you can escape? Chao Chiu was anxious. But I don't have many life-saving means. Han Fei smiled. I don't want too many, just the kind that can kill a hidden fisher. I don't care where you pull it out from. As long as you can guarantee that you can kill 2 level 50 red demons, I'll kill you. As for the rest, leave the poison god to me and you can leave. Chao Chiu was stunned. Really? Of course. Chao Chiu immediately took out 2 pieces of ancient jade. There are 2 strikes of a peak-level hidden fisher sealed in them. Here you are. I'm leaving. Chao Chiu slipped away. Han Fei's eyelids twitched violently. He was so shocked that he didn't stop Chao Chiu. Just how many such tricks did this guy have? It was too much to casually give out 2 of such an attack. Back then, he bought a peak strike of a junior hidden fisher from Junior Uncle Faceless for 100 million mid-quality pearls, which was worth at least 800,000 if not 1 million. Originally, Han Fei's real intention was just to ask Chao Chiu for one of the tricks, but he didn't expect this guy to give him 2 without thinking. Damn it, if I had known earlier, I would have asked for more from him. Seeing Chao Chiu run away, the hexagon starfish immediately said, "How about I set up a defensive array?" Han Fei sneered. Do you think your defensive array can resist level 50 creatures? The hexagon starfish's eyes flickered. No way. Han Fei nodded. That's right. Both the defensive array and the killing array need to be set up. The bigger, the better. The more, the better. It's very difficult to set up a killing array. Besides, will they be fooled? Han Fei grinned. It's my business whether they will be fooled or not. Your business is to set up the array for me. Well, setting up the array actually requires a lot of spiritual stones. Han Fei immediately looked at the hexagon starfish, and his tone became lower and lower. Not so much. There seems to be a kind of killing array in my inheritance, but the requirements are indeed a bit high. After all, formations are not only the mysteries of heaven and earth, but they also require the support of spiritual energy. Han Fei thought for a while. I'll give you 1,000 caddies of spiritual spring. 1,000 caddies of spiritual spring was actually more than 1 million points of spiritual energy. In addition to the spirit gathering array that he would set up later, spiritual energy within a radius of dozens of kilometers would gather in an instant, which could continuously supply the killing array. At least, it would be able to last for a while. The hexagon starfish asked. Then can I go after setting up the array? I miss Xia Shaochan. I'm going to find her. Han Fei sneered. Don't you think about your essence blood? You're really a starfish with no ambition. You know, once this ambush is successful, I will get a lot of points. If there is a chance in the future, maybe I can go to the deep sea and grab some spirit awakening fluid. This is all your opportunity, you know? The hexagon starfish's eyes kept rolling. Starfish don't need so many opportunities. Han Fei made up his mind. Just do it. If you talk nonsense again, I'll stew you. The third update. Asking for votes. 6,500 votes at about 7 p.m. End of this chapter. Chapter 641. The formation lasted from midnight to the next day. Outside the killing array was a spirit gathering array, a spirit gathering array covered with a defense array, and a concealment array covered with a concealment array. The four arrays overlapped each other, which was the largest array Han Fei could think of at present. Besides, without the help of the hexagon starfish, it couldn't be done at all. Seeing that it couldn't get away, the hexagon starfish suggested setting up another concealment array outside of Han Fei's concealment array. This way they could basically ensure that no one would discover this place. But Han Fei didn't. He knew that the hexagon starfish didn't like his concealment array. But it didn't matter. Although his concealment formation didn't seem to be that perfect, it didn't matter. But what he wanted was this imperfection. Otherwise, if he were to perfectly conceal himself from others, how would he be able to lure the fish to take the bait? Seeing that the array was set up and it was only a matter of time for him to launch it, Han Fei came out of the array. As soon as Han Fei came out, he sensed that Chao Qiu was flying in the sky 2,000 meters away. Han Fei jumped out of the water and said telepathically, "Why are you still here?" Chao Qiu looked at Han Fei strangely. "I'm just afraid that if you are killed by the red demon, I can save you." Han Fei rolled his eyes. "It's great that you're here. Stay away from here, 5,000 meters away. Don't let anyone approach this area." Chao Qiu wondered, "What about you? Where are you going?" Han Fei grinned. "Lure the enemy deeper. It just so happens that I haven't been out to sea for so long. Let's go for a stroll." In Chao Qiu's opinion, Han Fei was a lunatic. The Scattered Stars Island was extremely dangerous. Didn't he see that so many hanging fishers only dared to patrol the coast? You, a peak-level dangling fisher who just got a 4-star rank, dare to go deep into the ocean? Han Fei suddenly figured it out last night. First of all, he was sure that yesterday's attack was just a test, so he could sort out his thoughts. He hadn't been out to sea much recently. The most recent time he had been to the Path of Giants was during the Red Spirit Tide. After returning, yesterday's breakthrough in the water could be counted as the first. He must have been seen by the inferior manfish that escaped, which attracted the red demon to test him. However, what could the inferior manfish see from him? Was it worth it for the red demon to send a group of inferior manfish and blue-patterned armored shrimps over to test it? Han Fei was not sure. He speculated that some aspect of his breakthrough might have attracted the inferior manfish's attention. This also meant that there was something on him that was worth the red demon probing. In that case, it was even more certain that the mermaid's appearance was not a coincidence. Instead, it was premeditated. This meant that the other party really wanted to talk to him about something. Han Fei found it weird, but he couldn't help but be curious, so he summoned the hexagon starfish to set up this killing array. At this moment, Han Fei was 500 kilometers deep into the sea, and an exotic meteorite conch leaped away from him. How could Han Fei let it go? He had gone deep into the sea to use himself as bait. Therefore, from the very beginning, Goldie had already possessed him. Little Fatty was attached to Little Gold. Compared with the slow speed of the meteorite conch, Han Fei could replace an exotic weapon spirit in his ultra-quality battle suit. The battle in the water began. The meteorite conch, which devoured meteorite iron, had a strong defense. It was good at using the cicada shedding shell technique. When it had nowhere to run, it would give up the meteorite shell and burrow into the sand to escape. How could Han Fei let it do that? After fighting for more than 10 minutes, he finally took down this exotic meteorite conch. As for sealing the spirit, it was much faster. If he gave it to the demon purification pot, it would only take less than 10 minutes to seal the spirit. This was a pleasant surprise. Although it was the first time that Han Fei had used an exotic creature as a weapon spirit. At this moment, his ultra-quality battle suit was shining, and the surface of the battle suit was flashing with luster. Huh? Why haven't the inferior manfish come yet? Is it because my fighting is not loud enough? Han Fei frowned slightly. According to his estimation, this shouldn't be the case. If he was targeted by the sea monster, there should be a large number of inferior manfish near the skeleton's shore at this moment. Could it be that I guessed wrong? Han Fei wasn't sure. He made up his mind and began to practice the 108 Desolate God Body at the bottom of the water. When practicing the Desolate God Body, Han Fei also specially set up a spirit gathering array. Under the dual summoning of spiritual energy and energy, he wanted to see if he could attract the inferior manfish. After about half an hour, the inferior manfish didn't come, but many other creatures nearby were attracted. Han Fei saw two exotic creatures, a dazzling jellyfish, a razor clam that crossed the water. However, neither of them stopped. Han Fei was going to chase them, but the razor clam flicked and disappeared. Han Fei almost caught up with the other jellyfish. Han Fei only had time to see that its name was lighthouse jellyfish. However, the jellyfish suddenly burst out with dazzling light, then turned into light and disappeared. Ha! Pretty smart. Han Fei was about to continue to practice the 108 Desolate God Body, but in his perception, a half-mermaid had appeared on a seabed reef about 5,000 meters away. Han Fei's heart tightened. Here it comes. I guessed right. A sea monster is indeed targeting me. Han Fei sensed around, trying to find if there were any red demons. However, he didn't find any this time. In his perception, only this half-mermaid was looking in his direction. I didn't bring anyone. Han Fei's eyelids twitched. The half-mermaid was still 5,000 meters away, but its voice fell into his ears. This wasn't anything special in itself. It wasn't strange for sound transmission to be able to travel a long distance, but it was strange for one to have such a wide range of perception. Han Fei was not bragging. Even peak-level hanging fishers shouldn't have a perception range greater than his. Han Fei responded, "Are you waiting for me?" Yes. This half-mermaid's speech didn't seem to be very standard. Maybe because its structure was different from that of humans, when it spoke, it sounded a little shaky and its voice seemed to be layered. However, this half-mermaid spoke much more fluently than Han Fei had seen before. Han Fei asked coldly, "Why are you looking for me? What can I do for you?" The half-mermaid replied, "You have a demonic weapon on you." Han Fei chuckled. "Nonsense, I am an orthodox human being. How can I have demonic chi?" The half-mermaid said again, "Yes, the aura of a demon, and a demonic weapon." A demonic weapon? Han Fei froze for a moment. A sea demon's weapon? Han Fei couldn't help but think of one thing. The book that he had dug out from the roots of the 10,000-year-old big red trunk. At that time, Yang Ruoyan wanted to grab it, but he got it first. However, that thing was weird. As soon as the book was opened, it seemed to be able to capture one's soul and hurt him just by opening it. So far, Han Fei didn't dare to open it again. Although he didn't know how this half-mermaid found it, Han Fei wouldn't admit it. "How can I have a sea demon weapon? Are you mistaken?" The half-mermaid had already swam over to Han Fei, and Han Fei immediately stepped back. "Don't come over. Just stand there and talk." The half-mermaid stopped and replied from a distance, "You have used it. There is a residual aura." Han Fei narrowed his eyes. He had only flipped through that book once. At that time, he was injured by it. Was it because of this that the aura was left? Why didn't he feel it at all? Even Old Bai and the others didn't notice it. Otherwise, they would have told him long ago. The half-mermaid said with a ferocious face, "Trade? Trade?" Han Fei was amused. "You mean you want to make a deal with me?" Han Fei thought, "That's funny. If you don't want to trade with me, fine. You, a sea demon, want to trade with me, a human? Even if I am a fool, I know this is a good thing. But Han Fei didn't show any expression on his face. He just said lightly, "Let's not talk about whether I have the so-called sea demon weapon on me. Tell me what you want to trade with me first." Spirit awakening fluid. The half-mermaid bared its teeth and spoke in the sea, its long hair dancing with the waves, giving Han Fei the illusion that he was communicating with a human. Han Fei suppressed the shock in his heart. Spirit awakening fluid, how much do you have? 3,000 caddies. At that time, Han Fei's body trembled. Before, he didn't know what 3,000 caddies of spirit awakening fluid meant, but now how could he not know? The price of a caddy of spirit awakening fluid had reached 5,000 high-quality pearls. Besides, there was no market for it. He had specially learned that there were not many spirit awakening fluid that could be bought with high-quality pearls. Ordinary people would exchange for it with points. 5,000 points for a caddy. Now he could only exchange for more than 200 caddies with all his belongings. This half-mermaid offered 3,000 caddies as soon as it opened its mouth. How rich! Of course, Han Fei didn't want to exchange it. He hadn't even taken out this book, and the half-mermaid had already offered 3,000 caddies. If he took it out, it was possible to get 10,000 caddies. However, this half-mermaid was a rich man. How could he extort the spirit awakening fluid from it? Tonight I won't. After all, the votes haven't reached 6,800. It's rare for me to take a break. There's still a long way to go. Thank you for your support. End of this chapter. Chapter 642. Han Fei's mind was spinning. He was considering the possibility of a trade. Let's not talk about whether I have the demon weapon you mentioned or not. Even if I did, what makes you think I would trade with you? The half-mermaid said, "You can't." Han Fei sneered. "I can't use it, so you have to use it? What if you use it to deal with humans? Wouldn't I be a traitor to humanity?" The mermaid swallowed the seawater and said, 5,000 caddies. Han Fei was lost for words. Is it a matter of weight? This is a matter of righteousness. The half-mermaid muttered, the remaining aura is only worth 5,000 kilograms. Han Fei frowned deeply. He didn't expect that sea demons would trade with human beings. However, how could he give up 5,000 kilograms of spirit awakening fluid so easily? He couldn't buy 5,000 caddies of spirit awakening fluid even with all the high-quality pearls he had. It would be a joke if he said he wasn't tempted when this mermaid opened her mouth and offered 5,000 jin. Han Fei immediately said, 10,000 caddies. If you can give me 10,000 caddies, let's trade. 5,000 caddies, it's only worth so much. You don't have to trade, I'll take this place. Han Fei was speechless. That's a fixed price. Threatening me? Do you think yours truly is someone you can threaten? Han Fei pondered for a moment. Let me think about it for a day. If I think it through, I will wait for you at the bottom of the sea at this time tomorrow. But don't play any tricks, I will bring people. The half-mermaid said, more than 10 people, more than 4 stars. The deal is cancelled. With that, the mermaid turned around and disappeared into the boundless sea. Han Fei's face darkened. It was impossible for him to change. Otherwise, if Han Fei was discovered, he might be killed on the spot. But he wanted 5,000 kilograms of spirit awakening fluid. Han Fei licked his lips and said to the hexagon starfish, Mr. Hexagon Starfish, how do you think we should deal with her? I didn't dare to test you. It doesn't matter. That half-mermaid is definitely not weak. Let's kill her tomorrow night. By killing her, of course, he meant poisoning her to death or killing her with Chao Chio's 2 ancient jades. It was unrealistic to seek help from others. At that time, there would be no way to explain it. Why did the mermaid come here? Why did the mermaid come here with spirit awakening fluid? Besides, once the spirit awakening fluid was exposed, it would be hard to say how much he could get. Han Fei just wanted to ask Wang Dashui for help. But on second thought, Wouldn't Senior Brother Dashwai's appearance be too big of a commotion? If a 6-star master came here, it would be easy to notice. Only by killing the mermaid on his own could he keep the spirit awakening fluid for himself. Of course, the risks were huge, but so were the rewards. Han could not imagine that when of Han of Wang, he would be that, Han of the of Wang to of C. At this moment, the only thing that Han Fei wasn't sure about was how far the mermaid's perception range was. If something were to happen at that time, it would be difficult for him to deal with it. Wang of half he, she. About it. Han Li about it. Of it. Han Li Han he I he. Fine, drag Chao Chiu here and give him some spirit awakening fluid. Well, 200 caddies should be enough for him. That night, in the place where the formation was set up, Chao Chiu was flying in the sky 2,000 meters away. Chao Chiu shivered. Why did you only call me? If the sea demon army comes, I won't be able to save you. It's okay. I have a way to get out. Besides, there was an 80% chance that there was no sea demon army at all. We may face a hidden fisher-level sea monster. Hiss. Chao Chiu immediately gasped. Are you crazy? How dare you provoke a sea demon at the level of a hidden fisher? Han Fei thought of something. That's why I dragged you here. If something were to happen, I'm counting on you to save me. Chao Chiu was speechless. How can I beat a hidden fisher? I won't fight. Chao Chiu's head shook like a rattle. He had made up his mind. No matter what Han Fei said, he wouldn't fight. Han Fei patted him on the shoulder. You don't need to do anything. Just throw the treasures out. At most, I will think of a way to return it to you. Alright, you should stay away from here for now. The attack range of a hidden fisher is quite large. I can't guarantee that you won't be affected if you get close. Whoosh. In Han Fei's speechless gaze, Chao Chiu had already flown out. Han Fei, on the other hand, put a hand on his shoulder and stopped the hexagon starfish who was about to run. Why are you running? Don't you have any confidence in the array that we set up ourselves? The 6 big eyes of the hexagon starfish rolled like a top. I'm not confident. I've never set up a killing array. Han Fei sneered. If you don't have confidence later, if we really start fighting, we'll die together. In the array, Han Fei opened the concealment array a bit more, revealing a flaw, and he was practicing the 108 desolate god body in the center of the array. Han Fei had spent a lot on these arrays. Today, he specially added 3 ultra-quality spiritual stones to strengthen the arrays. It would be a great thing if a hidden fisher couldn't find a hidden array that had exposed flaws. That meant that she was much weaker than he had imagined. 2 hours. 2 hours. There was a breeze on the sea, and no fishing boats passed in all directions. At this moment, almost all the members of the 8th Battalion were waiting for news on the skeleton shore. Han Fei just sent 8 teams to patrol the sea as usual. Otherwise, if the mermaid sent the inferior manfish to inquire about the news and found that there was no scout, it would arouse suspicion. When the moon hung high in the sky and the bright moonlight sprinkled on the sea, Han Fei suddenly stopped cultivating. He saw someone coming, extremely fast, like a flashing movie, passing all the way. That figure was coming directly to Han Fei's concealment array. His target was very clear. Han Fei couldn't help but wonder if his array could resist it. 1,000 meters away from Han Fei, a voice transmission came. Why? Is there an array? Han Fei stood in the array and smiled faintly. Of course it's to prevent you from killing me. I've set up 2 defensive arrays and a spirit-gathering array, which can continuously maintain the power of the array. Why are you afraid of this? The half-mermaid shouted, Withdraw. Han Fei shook his head. It's impossible to withdraw. Since you have seen through the concealment array, you shouldn't be afraid. Since you have seen through the concealment array, you shouldn't be afraid. Otherwise, unless I bring a hidden fisher here, who can be your opponent? Only by trading with you in the array can I be safe. The half-mermaid just thought for a moment and entered the concealment array calmly. As Han Fei said, unless a hidden fisher came, who could be her opponent? Besides, she had already monitored the surroundings and found no abnormalities. At this moment, information emerged in Han Fei's eyes. Name half-mermaid, ordinary sea demon. Introduction: a sea demon with sound intelligence, the opposite race of humans, good at mermaid tactic. Because of the different tactics they practice, their combat characteristics are different and can't be explained. Level 52 Spiritual Energy 68426842 Demon Heritage, Level 5, Mid-Quality, Realm Sea Demon Companion Spirit, Overlord Squid, Unabsorbable. After seeing this information, Han Fei was shocked. It was indeed a hidden fisher. Besides, it was not a beginner hidden fisher, but almost at the level of a junior peak-level hidden fisher. Making a deal with such a creature was like asking a tiger for its skin. Han Fei was sure that although the red demon might be at the same level as this half-mermaid, its combat power was definitely not as good. Emo Qianshang in the level 3 fishery was also a half-mermaid. If he hadn't killed him, he would have been the strongest among the younger generation of the 36 towns. Concealment meant that he wouldn't be discovered by others. When the half-mermaid entered the concealment array, Han Fei calmed down, pretended to look at his shoulder indifferently, and then said to the half-mermaid, "Where is the spirit awakening fluid?" The half-mermaid stared at Han Fei. "Demon soldier," Han Fei said coldly, "I have to see the spirit awakening fluid first. Otherwise, how can I believe you? I know you are strong, but I don't necessarily have no trump cards. Otherwise, how would I dare to trade with you?" The half-mermaid was not good-looking, with no flesh on its face, prominent cheekbones, and undulating gills on its neck. Most importantly, they always liked to bare their teeth. Their mouths full of steel teeth were the most degrading part. The half-mermaid opened its mouth and spat out a sea-swallowing seashell. With a thought in her mind, the sea-swallowing seashell opened like a phantom, and inside was a pool of blue liquid. It was just a glimpse, and Han Fei didn't see how much spirit awakening fluid was in it. Besides, her technique was weird. Was the way sea demons used their sea-swallowing seashell differently from humans? If Han Fei hadn't bought spirit awakening fluid from Uncle Faceless, he would have thought that this half-mermaid was lying to him. But just now, he clearly felt that there was a lot of spirit awakening fluid, so there should be no mistake. The half-mermaid muttered, "Demon soldier." Han Fei sensed again. Although he knew that the other party would discover his perception, it didn't matter. Only by being cautious would the other party believe him. After confirming that there was no one else within 5,000 meters, Han Fei suddenly took out a red and demonic book and placed it in front of him. However, the mermaid's eyes suddenly widened as if she had seen something incredible. However, before she continued to read it, the book had been put away by Han Fei. If this thing was released, it would affect one's mind, so Han Fei was usually reluctant to touch it. Every time he scanned Forge the Universe, he would automatically ignore this book. However, seeing the half-mermaid's expression, Han Fei frowned. This thing seemed to be more than 5,000 kilograms of spirit awakening fluid. However, Han Fei didn't panic. He didn't intend to give it to the half-mermaid. Han Fei glanced at his shoulder again. Before the hexagon starfish took action, the half-mermaid suddenly took action. 5 dark blue claws tore at the defense array. Chapter 643. At the moment Han Fei gave the order to attack, the array under Han Fei's feet was fading, and the real defensive and killing arrays were right under the mermaid's feet. Han Fei sneered. "It seems that you don't intend to exchange with me." "Same here." The defensive array was dimming, and after the half-mermaid's blow, it was almost half-dimmed. After all, the hexagon starfish was only a level 43 creature. Even if it was a mysterious creature, it was still quite difficult for it to trap a sea demon above level 50. But Han Fei didn't intend to trap it for long. At the moment the mermaid attacked, Dozens of caddies of poison god were wrapped by the infinity water, entangling the mermaid. Hiss, the mermaid couldn't roar and could only make unpleasant hissing sounds. Then the bottom of the sea shook. In Han Fei's perception, a large number of marine creatures around were swarming over. Han Fei's face changed slightly. Sea demons could control ordinary marine creatures? He was shocked. He thought that sea demons could only control certain marine creatures, such as big sword water fleas, tide-calling crabs, blue-patterned armored shrimp, and so on. But at this moment, in Han Fei's perception, almost all the nearby creatures were swarming over. Killing array rise. Infinity water explode. Inside the defensive array, the mermaid's second blow still failed to break the defensive array. However, after this attack, the entire defensive formation dimmed, and the area that was attacked had already cracked. The hexagon starfish said in a panic, "I can't trap it anymore." From the beginning of the mermaid's attack to the moment the defensive array was about to be broken, only 1 second had passed. At this moment, a dense purple light was rising from the ground. This was the killing array set up by the hexagon starfish. At this moment, almost all the spiritual energy absorbed by the spirit-gathering array set up by Han Fei was absorbed by the killing array. At this time, there was a riot under the sea. In Han Fei's perception, a red demon appeared. Han Fei immediately sent a message to his waist tag, "Call the highest rescue. 20 kilometers away, very close, very close." At this moment, Han Fei didn't care about it at all and picked up an ancient jade in his hand. The blow of a peak-level hidden fisher is enough to kill a level 52 mermaid. As soon as the ancient jade was broken, a terrifying fist shadow condensed on the bottom of the sea. The sea demon in the killing array was stunned. At this moment, how could it still attack the killing array set up by the hexagon starfish? An incomparably huge squid appeared. Han Fei just glanced at it. Is this the sea demon's companion spirit, Overlord Squid? The seawater surged, and the Chao clan's fist imprint had already been launched, bombarding with huge wave. On the sea, with a swish, Chao Chiu flew into the sky where Han Fei was. At the same time, he was shouting, "Highest alert, the red demon is attacking, hurry up!" In the distance, in just a breath of time, 2 red demons had already traveled halfway. Seeing the liquid spurting out of the mermaid's mouth, Han Fei knew that the poison god worked. At this moment, he was holding the blood-drinking knife, wearing an ultra-quality battlesuit, and wearing the 6th spirit armor. He fully activated the majestic mystic spell, and Little Fatty and Little Gold. The drawing technique, which was infused with the invincible saber intent, was unleashed at full force. Regardless of whether it worked or not, there was only one chance. Once the red demon arrived, there would be no chance. Buzz, before the fist shadow arrived, the half-mermaid had been locked on. The powerful aura even shattered the killing array set up by the hexagon starfish. Han Fei saw with his own eyes that the huge overlord squid was punched with a huge hole. Han Fei's blood-drinking knife followed closely, piercing directly into the mermaid's chest in the filth. The Chao family's fist imprint seemed to be so powerful that it blasted a big pit on the seabed. Half of the mermaid's flesh and blood had collapsed. Plus Han Fei's attack. Even if she was a hidden fisher, she couldn't survive. Just when Han Fei was about to chop off her body proudly, all of a sudden, the mermaid who was about to die stabbed the bone of her hand at Han Fei's chest as fast as lightning. How is this possible? The 6th spirit armor shattered. The spiritual energy protective cover shattered. The hand bone actually pierced through the ultra-quality battlesuit that had just been sealed with a spirit. Then, it continued to penetrate 3 inches into Han Fei's body, and a majestic demonic aura was injected into Han Fei's body, intending to destroy Han Fei's body. Perhaps this half-mermaid didn't expect Han Fei's physique to be so strong. Although Han Fei's entire chest was already badly mutilated, its sharp claws still failed to tear Han Fei apart. Was it blocked by Han Fei's flesh and blood? The extremely powerful indestructible body was so powerless in front of a hidden fissure. At this moment, Han Fei felt the aura of death. The half-mermaid's dying blow was so sudden that Han Fei didn't even have time to use his amulet. Besides, being stalled by the half-mermaid, Han Fei had lost the opportunity to escape. The two red demons had already rushed 500 meters away. One of the red demons had already thrown out the small harpoon in its hand. In an instant, the amulet given by Old Bai had been used by Han Fei. A milky white barrier blocked in front of Han Fei. The harpoon appeared almost at the same time as Han Fei's amulet. Under the flickering light of the amulet, Han Fei managed to hold on. At this moment, Han Fei heard Chao Chio's voice transmission, "Hurry up and use the other attack." Han Fei smiled bitterly. "Do you think I don't want to?" It was too fast. It really happened in the time it takes for a spark to ignite. A hidden fissure was killed in less than 2 minutes. Can you believe it? However, because of the amulet, Han Fei took the time to crush the second ancient jade. At the same time, he collected the half-mermaid's body into Forge the Universe. The fist marks of the Chao family appeared again, and the area within 100 meters around Han Fei was covered with fist marks. The two red demons were rushing over quickly and had been locked on, so they had no chance to dodge. They seemed to know that they couldn't escape at all. A dark red bone spear appeared in the hands of the two red demons almost at the same time. Obviously, it was not the two red demons' own means. These two bone spears had already shot straight at Han Fei. Almost at the same time, the bone spear had already pierced the amulet. Under the attacks of two hidden fissures, or even hidden fissures, Han Fei's amulet lasted 2 seconds. He flew backward more than 800 meters and his amulet was broken. Swish! 6 purple lights rose and the 6-gate formation opened, continuing to block the two spears. Gotcha! The 6-gate formation was broken, and immediately afterward, the spears fell on Han Fei's shoulders. Puff! Han Fei spat out a mouthful of blood. The ultra-quality battle suit was pierced and deflated, and the harsh friction sound rang in Han Fei's ears like a death sentence. In the end, the two spears still pierced Han Fei's shoulders because the defense of the broken ultra-quality battle suit was greatly damaged. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of blood again. Han Fei's 2 shoulders were pierced. The spear tips failed to penetrate Han Fei but pressed against Han Fei's crystal-clear bones. At this time, Han Fei didn't know whether the Chao family's fist mark had killed the two red demons or not. Because above the sky, a fishing hook had fallen, tied Han Fei up, and pulled him into the sky. The savior was naturally Chao Chio. This guy didn't dare to make a move just now, and he had no chance to make a move at all. When Han Fei was pierced by the 2 spears, he took action and quickly hooked Han Fei out of the bottom of the sea. Otherwise, the rioting creatures on the bottom of the sea might tear Han Fei apart. Puff! In midair, when Han Fei was pulled onto the fishing boat, he vomited a big mouthful of blood again. Covered in blood, Han Fei gritted his teeth and said in a trembling voice, "Son of AB***, this is 2F** King Strong." The hexagon starfish fell directly from Han Fei's shoulder, and its 6 big eyes were already blurred. Just now, although it was Han Fei who suffered the damage, it was also shaken by the continuous forces. At this moment, it had collapsed on the fishing boat. Chao Chio panicked and wanted to run immediately, but Han Fei said with difficulty, "Red demons." Chao Chio was almost crying. "What time is it? You still want red demons?" Han Fei widened his eyes. "With my ability, kill them all." Points. After saying this, Han Fei fainted. He really couldn't stand it anymore. This time, he was really careless. He had thought that he was already cautious enough. The defense array, the 6-gate formation, the ultra-quality battlesuit, the indestructible body, the 6-spirit armor. Little Fatty's resistance effect. In fact, there was also Forge the Universe that could help him escape. He had taken all these into account, but he still almost couldn't stand it. He felt that he was so close to using the immortal seal. If it hadn't been for the six-gate formation that the hexagon starfish raised just now, which made him feel that the power of the two spears was decreasing, he would really have used it. When Han Fei woke up, he was in extreme pain all over. His two shoulders seemed to be pressed by two boulders and he couldn't move at all. And in his chest, he could still feel that there was a force trying to shatter his vitality. However, fortunately, the vitality of the indestructible body was strong, so that force didn't succeed. Swish! A soft divine healing technique was sprinkled on him. Han Fei took a long breath and slowly opened his eyes. However, as soon as he opened his eyes, he found that he was locked in an iron cage. Han Fei! Han Fei turned his head and looked to the side. There were cages connected to him, and cages on the other side of the cage. F***ck, where is this? Hey! Chapter 644. Han Fei turned his head and looked at the speaker, only to find that it was a middle-aged man with disheveled hair and a dirty face. His clothes were ragged and his hands were full of dirt, and he was making fun of him. Han Fei felt that this person seemed to be very happy, but he didn't know why. Han Fei couldn't help asking, "Where is this?" The man chuckled. "Where is this? This is a prison. The famous Scattered Stars prison. You don't even know this. Yes, you were unconscious when you were carried here." Han Fei frowned and wanted to sit up. Unfortunately, his injuries hadn't healed yet, and it seemed that the person who treated him didn't use his full strength. Han Fei could only continue to cast the divine healing technique on himself. "Why did I come to the prison? I've killed 2 red demons, haven't I? Didn't I make a contribution?" Han Fei lay flat, turned his head, and asked the sloppy middle-aged man next to him, "Who sent me in?" "Hey, who else? Except for the jailers, who can enter the Scattered Stars prison. By the way, what did you do?" "I killed 2 red demons. Who the F***ck sent me here?" "Puff." The man sneered. "You? A peak-level dangling fisher killed 2 red demons? Ask yourself, do you believe it?" Han Fei snorted. Believe it or not. Han Fei was in a bad mood. No one would be in a good mood if they woke up and found themselves in a prison, right? The sloppy middle-aged man commented, however, "You, a peak-level dangling fisher, can get a 4-star waist tag? Did you get in through the back door?" Han Fei said grumpily, "Yes, I got in through the back door of your house." TSK. Kids nowadays were quite blunt with their words. However, you probably won't be able to get out in a short time. Take your time in the Scattered Stars prison. I've already killed a few of them. Han Fei was speechless. Take it yourself. I'm still young, so I'm leaving. Han Fei didn't bother to look at this person. He couldn't see through this person's strength, but he should be much stronger than him. However, it seemed that he had been locked up here for a long time. "Hey, young man, what's your name?" "Young man, don't be so cold. It's not easy to meet someone I can talk to. Let's have a chat." "Young man," Han Fei said angrily, "why are you so annoying?" "Croak, croak, croak, let me tell you, I'm going out in 2 days. You, who wants to talk to you?" The man laughed. "Go out? 2 days? You're still young and haven't been to the Scattered Stars prison. I don't blame you." Han Fei turned his head and stopped talking to the nagging ghost. In the end, this fellow continued to nag for 2 hours without stopping. An hour later, Han Fei was able to sit up. He immediately discovered that his sea-swallowing seashell was gone. He didn't use the sea-swallowing seashell very often and kept it on his body. There was only an ultra-quality spiritual weapon and some high-quality spiritual weapons in it. They were worth no more than 20,000 high-quality pearls in total. He reckoned that it must have been searched by someone. However, the ring given by the Time Dragon Carp was still on his finger. It seemed like someone had tried to take it down, but it didn't seem to have been taken away. Han Fei couldn't help sweating. Fortunately, the bastard who got him in here didn't break his fingers. Otherwise, he would hate him for the rest of his life. After moving a little, Han Fei felt that the bones in his shoulders were slightly cracked. His chest was still burning with pain. After all, it was deeply pierced by a hand. Around him there were empty cells. The walls here were covered with salt frost, and the dampness was mixed with the fishy smell of the sea. However, surprisingly, the ground was not ordinary bluestone, and the cages were not ordinary wood. It seemed that the materials used in these cells were excellent. They should be used to prevent prisoners from escaping, right? Huh. Han Fei observed for a while, and suddenly found that his chest was a little cool. Why is there so little demonic energy? Han Fei was suddenly shocked to find that the strange aura that was originally full of his body was now less than half left. When Han Fei looked inside carefully, he found that in his dantian, the seed that had never moved was actually slowly rotating. There was a faint red mist around the seed. Wow! The seed is absorbing this demonic energy? Han Fei's first reaction was shock. Then, he was astonished. What was the origin of this seed? Why could it absorb demonic energy? Han Fei quickly closed his eyes and looked at his information. Owner Han Fei, level greater than 39, peak level dangling fisher, spiritual energy greater than 182,655, 7888. Spiritual power 1299-1299, perception range greater than 9,999 meters, spiritual heritage, level 5, high quality spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish, level 36, main art void breaking technique, volume 4 of void fishing, demon level, divine quality. Han Fei was stunned. The upper limit of his spiritual energy had increased by more than 200? How did it increase? Han Fei couldn't help but take a breath. Even if he practiced the 108 desolate god body, it couldn't be so fast. How many days had it been since he made the breakthrough? Was it because of the fight with the sea demons? Or did the seed absorb demonic energy? Han Fei wasn't sure. However, in terms of growth speed, this was a good thing. This meant that he had gained something in this battle. In addition to the half-mermaid in Forge the Universe and the large amount of spirit-awakening fluid in her sea-swallowing seashell, he seemed to have unexpected gains that even he didn't know. 3 hours later, Han Fei still didn't see anyone. He was speechless and said to the sloppy uncle who had been chatting next to him, "Where is this person? Is there no one in this prison?" The uncle grinned. "Yo, you're finally talking to me?" Han Fei rolled his eyes. "Then tell me now. Are you going to tell me or not? Tell me. This Scattered Stars prison. How can ordinary people come in here? We are on the 3rd floor of the prison. Of course, no one comes here. The jailers eat and drink well on the 1st floor. Who would come to the 3rd floor?" Han Fei frowned. "The 3rd floor? What kind of person would be locked up on the 3rd floor?" The sloppy uncle said, "By rights, you are not qualified to be locked up here. Usually, only hidden fishers are locked up here. You? It's a miracle that you, a peak-level dangling fisher, are locked up on the 3rd floor." Han Fei's face was gloomy. What happened when he was in a coma? How did he end up in the 3rd level for no rhyme or reason? Han Fei looked at the sloppy uncle suspiciously. "What about you? Are you a hidden fisher?" The sloppy uncle grinned, revealing a mouthful of black teeth. "What do you think? I'm also a very good hidden fisher." Han Fei chuckled. "Then how did you get locked up here?" The sloppy uncle sneered. "Why, I colluded with sea demons. He was caught, so he was locked up here." "Wow!" Han Fei was stunned. "You colluded with sea demons?" The sloppy uncle scoffed. "What do you think? I did business with sea demons. I made a lot of money. I don't know which B***starred sold me out. I've been here for 3 years. 3 years!" Han Fei exclaimed. "You colluded with sea demons? Why didn't they kill you?" The sloppy uncle said disdainfully, "How can there be such a good thing? There were originally 5 people in this cell. Later, they were all sent to war. After fighting, I was the only one left. Han Fei understood. Make use of condemned prisoners. I understand. You don't understand. What do you mean colluding with sea demons? Those half-human, half-fish guys have a lot of good things. What's wrong with me exchanging for some? I didn't betray human beings. Damn, they locked me up indiscriminately until now. Han Fei squinted at him. Even if you say you didn't betray human beings, someone has to believe you. The sloppy uncle shrugged. They are all old-fashioned. The battle between human beings and sea demons is nothing more than spirit awakening fluid. The largest excavation site of spirit awakening fluid is in the Transverse Mountain. Those in power are happy. Can't we cultivators get something from the sea demons to cultivate? Han Fei was taken aback. Wait, what did you say? Isn't the excavation site of spirit awakening fluid in the undersea chimney? How did it become the Transverse Mountain? The sloppy uncle was taken aback. I forgot you are an angler. After all, there are very few undersea chimneys. Every time one pops up, there will be a big battle. The one in the Transverse Mountain is controlled by human beings to supply the 1,000-star city and the 36 towns. We fight tirelessly on the Scattered Stars Island, but we don't get any. The more the sloppy uncle spoke, the angrier he became. You don't give it to us. As soon as the undersea chimney appears, we can't get it. Even if we get it, it won't belong to you. The treatment is so bad. What's wrong with me exchanging for some things with sea demons? Do you have to lock me up? Han Fei. 1 day later. Han Fei's injuries had completely recovered. The demonic energy that had been rampaging in his body had almost disappeared, and the upper limit of his spiritual energy had increased to 7,912 points. Chapter 645. The sloppy hidden fisher next to Han Fei was called Zhang Ting, who was a 6-star killer. Because he had been fighting outside the sea for a long time, for some reason, he started to do business with sea demons. In Han Fei's opinion, this was simply ridiculous. You killed sea demons every day, but the sea demons still cooperated with you? Yet, they still chose to cooperate with each other. And the senior leaders of the Scattered Stars Island knew about it. Of course, this was immediately over. It was said that he had never been out since he was caught and sent to the Scattered Stars prison. Since no one came, the two of them started chatting. Han Fei mainly wanted to learn something about the Scattered Stars Island from Zhang Ting. After all, a hidden fisher definitely knew more things than he did and knew more about the Scattered Stars Island. They chatted and chatted, 3 and 2 big I'll be crushed. I'll explode. Straight the two of them chatted, and actually played cards. Zhang Ting sighed. This thing is a bit interesting. Han Fei grinned. Of course. Don't you know who invented it? Zhang Ting asked. You invented it? Han Fei chuckled. Sorry, but let's stop playing. We've been playing for so long. Why isn't anyone here? Zhang Ting chuckled. No one will come. Han Fei was speechless. Why? Even if you want to interrogate me, you should at least interrogate me, right? Zhang Ting scoffed. You colluded with sea demons. What's there to interrogate? Puff. Han Fei was speechless. Who the hell colluded with sea demons? I killed 2 red demons. How did I collude with sea demons? Zhang Ting asked. When you were first carried in, you were full of demonic energy. At that time, I thought you were a sea demon. Did you transform from a sea demon? Han Fei was speechless. How is it possible? Which part of me looks like a siren? Hiss. You mean, the Scattered Stars prison caught me as a sea demon? Zhang Ting chuckled. Of course. When you came in, I thought you were a sea demon. Even if you were not a sea demon, you were probably related to one. However, after such a long time, the demonic aura on your body seems to be slowly dissipating. That's strange. It doesn't seem like it dissipated into thin air. Instead, it seems like it fused into my body. If you were me, I would definitely catch you too. Han Fei narrowed his eyes. I absorbed the demonic aura? How come I didn't know? Isn't it because of my healing spell? Han Fei knew that the demonic energy had indeed been absorbed by him. It wasn't as simple as just absorbing it. That thing was simply a great supplement. In the last blow, the mermaid stuffed almost all its remaining demonic chi into its body. Originally, he had intended to destroy the life force in his body so that he would be buried with him. However, it didn't know that Han Fei's physique was so tough, nor did it expect that there was a seed in Han Fei's body that could absorb demonic energy. For the first time, Han Fei took this seed seriously. Previously, when Luo Xiaobai also got a seed, Han Fei thought it was a seed for evolution. Later, Old Bai mentioned that he had to find his own way. Han Fei thought of the path. He walked out in a daze in Ren Tianfei's cave and thought this seed was that path. But now Han Fei was not sure. Why could this thing absorb demonic energy? Zhang Ting smacked his lips and waved his hand. The healing spell can heal wounds, but it can't dispel demonic energy. Although demonic energy will also dissipate, there will always be remnants, and it won't dissipate so quickly. With that said, Zhang Ting squinted at Han Fei. So, you still have something to do with sea demons, right? Han Fei said angrily. Bullshit, I have a clean background. I killed the red demon, which the second young master of the Chao family in the Thousand-Star City can testify. I killed the red demon with the big fist mark sealed in the ancient jade of the Chao family. Who the hell has anything to do with sea demons? Zhang Ting grinned and said, That's not necessarily true. Maybe some people are sea demons but they don't know it. But you really don't look like one. Han Fei glanced sideways. What do you mean? Zhang Ting stretched lazily. You look too much like a human. Puff. Han Fei was speechless. Are you scolding me? I am a human. Why do I look too much like a human? Zhang Ting chuckled and said, If you are a sea demon, then you are too advanced. To be able to transform into a human form, you have to have at least a level 7 demonic heritage. Well, not necessarily, maybe even higher. Han Fei was about to say, My spiritual heritage hasn't reached level 7 yet. How can I have a level 7 demonic heritage? But on second thought, he was horrified and his scalp went numb. He was just a peak-level dangling fisher, and this was the first time he had come to the Scattered Stars Island. How could he know what a demonic heritage was? Why was he so indifferent when he heard it was a demonic heritage? Han Fei didn't even dare to move his eyeballs. He pretended to be in a daze, but in his heart he suddenly realized. How could this be a prisoner who had been imprisoned for 3 years? This Zhang Ting was definitely a fake prisoner. The reason why he became familiar with him was that he wanted to lure him into giving in. Right now, if he answered this question incorrectly, he would immediately be labeled as a sea demon. At the very least, he would be charged with the crime of colluding with sea demons. Han Fei was stunned. No, wait a minute. What is a demonic heritage? Zhang Ting blinked his eyes faintly and said calmly, Oh, you don't know this. The sea demons were actually a race similar to humans. However, we are different from them. We live on the floating island and they live in the sea, so we are natural enemies. This demonic heritage is similar to our human spiritual heritage. Han Fei was shocked. You mean, sea demons like us cultivate with spiritual heritage? Zhang Ting shrugged. We call it demonic heritage. However, no one knows about it. Some people said that they had seen the king of sea demons, who was almost the same as human beings. Wow! Han Fei pretended to be confused. What do you mean? Zhang Ting clicked his tongue and said, Like human beings. They are no different from human beings. Their speech, behavior, and cultivation methods are similar. Han Fei couldn't help but say, Like human beings? Are they still sea demons? Shouldn't sea demons be full of demonic energy? Zhang Ting said lazily, Alas! Maybe. Just like the high-quality spiritual heritage among human beings. Do you know what it feels like to have a level 9 spiritual heritage? Han Fei said weakly. You mean, at that point, even demonic energy will be gone? Zhang Ting combed his dirty hair. That's possible. I'm afraid that it will only be exposed under some special circumstances. For example, seriously injured. While talking, Zhang Ting looked at Han Fei with a smile. Han Fei pointed to himself and sneered. Me? That's 2F** King ridiculous. If what you said is true, that kind of person must be a peerless heavenly talent among sea demons. That kind of person is like a treasure no matter where he is. Just like the children of those big clans, who will let the human world take risks. Zhang Ting chuckled. That's true. That's why I said you didn't look like one. With that said, Zhang Ting took out a pot of wine and drank 2 mouthfuls of it. Han Fei was stunned. Where did you get the wine? Zhang Ting blinked at Han Fei and said, just a small trick. I secretly hid a sea-swallowing seashell. But it's been 3 years, and the wine in it is almost finished. Would you like a sip? Han Fei said disdainfully, let me smell it. Humph. Could it be that you're afraid that I've poisoned the wine? Han Fei curled his lips. I'm afraid that your wine is too lousy for me to drink. Zhang Ting was speechless. You don't like it? I don't even want to give it to you. Besides, do you have a chance to get out? Han Fei snorted. I can definitely get out. I'm not a sea demon. If you lock me here indiscriminately, believe it or not, my teacher will come and smash the Scattered Stars prison. Oh? Your teacher is so powerful? Han Fei said proudly, of course. It's not a problem for me to kill a hidden fisher with a slap. Zhang Ting was speechless. You really know how to brag. Do you think a hidden fisher is a yellowfish? Kill a hidden fisher with a slap? Han Fei increasingly felt that this person was not a prisoner. If the Scattered Stars prison was really so powerful, why would they secretly leave a sea-swallowing seashell for you? Are you dreaming? Han Fei said, Hey, let me ask you. How do you think the sea demons cultivate? Why do the inferior manfish look different from the red demons? Zhang Ting exclaimed, You don't know? Han Fei was speechless. I'm not a sea demon. How would I know? Zhang Ting snorted. Well, in fact, they are not much different from humans. In fact, sea demons are also divided into levels. Some creatures will become demons only after they have spiritual intelligence at the beginning. We call it spirit awakening. The lowest level sea demons have 3 realms: spirit awakening, transcending mortality, and spirit guarding. In theory, they correspond to the 3 realms of Fisherman, Fishing Master, and Great Fishing Master respectively. Han Fei was amused. Can they be called demons? Zhang Ting said, Listen to me. After spirit guarding is awakening. Once a creature awakens, it will really have spiritual intelligence and can officially cultivate. In theory, it is the same level as a dangling fisher. Of course, there may be awakening at any stage, and there are naturally very strong creatures who still haven't awakened, so it's just a theoretical correspondence. Han Fei asked, What happens after that? Zhang Ting asked, After that? After awakening, it can only go through the demonic transformation stage, in which it will continue to grow and complete self-transformation. In this way, it will really become a sea demon. So, the demonic transformation stage is equivalent to a hanging fisher, and the sea demon stage is equivalent to a hidden fisher. And above this, there is transcending mortality. At the sea demon stage, it has full spiritual intelligence and is no weaker than human beings. If it continues to pursue, it will become a sea spirit. At that time, it can be said that this sea demon has cultivated to the highest level. Han Fei's eyes flickered. Spirit awakening, transcending mortality, spirit guarding, awakening, demonic transformation, sea demon, sea spirit. Sea demons actually followed such a path of cultivation. Under normal circumstances, a sea spirit was already equivalent to a powerhouse at the level of law enforcer. But there was still a problem. Yang Ruoyun was only at the demonic transformation stage, wasn't she? Why was she basically the same as a human after transforming? Chapter 646. Han Fei was quite curious about the cultivation path of sea demons and asked Zhang Ting. In any case, this Zhang Ting was a fake, so he definitely knew a lot. He still didn't want to expose himself and pretended to be a prisoner. Logically speaking, he would tell her everything he knew. Han Fei sat cross-legged and leaned against Zhang Ting's cage. What happened after that? What came after the sea spirit? Let me think. Isn't that the same level as an explorer? Zhang Ting was puzzled. It doesn't seem right for this kid to ask me like a fool. Did he really have nothing to do with the sirens? Zhang Ting also said with a smile, theoretically yes. But that level was already too high. Who knew? Even now, the red demons we've seen are basically all in the demonization realm. But don't think that the demonization realm necessarily corresponds to the hanging fisher. This sea monster is different from human beings. Sometimes, even if it has the strength of a hidden fisher, it is still in the demonization state. I don't know if they are divided by realms. Han Fei clicked his tongue and said, I don't think so. Let's say a level 100 big fish, such as a cloud whale, suddenly demonized. Do you think it's still in the demonization realm? Zhang Ting waved his hand. I don't know. Who knows? Han Fei sighed. Forget it. What does it have to do with me? I'm the man who killed the red demon. Immediately, Han Fei opened the cage and shouted, Is anyone here? Is there anyone here? Did they all fall into the trench? Zhang Ting sneered, Stop shouting. If shouting was of any use, I would have left long ago. Han Fei snorted. Why should I? I'm the prodigy who killed the red demon. Zhang Ting was speechless. What's the big deal about killing a red demon? Beneath our feet, there are people who have killed groups of sea spirit level powerhouses. Aren't they also locked up? Han Fei was stunned. What did you say? He killed a sea spirit? That is to say, there are super experts in this prison who have killed law enforcement officers before? Zhang Ting shrugged noncommittally. Han Fei immediately gasped. Shoot! It's right under our feet? Zhang Ting chuckled. Yes. The 4th floor. Han Fei looked at Zhang Ting suspiciously. Aren't you a prisoner? How do you know there's a 4th level of the Scattered Stars prison? Zhang Ting said, I'm a prisoner, but I'm also a powerhouse. I was originally an existence that could have become a 7-star powerhouse. What's wrong with knowing this? Han Fei swallowed. Why is the existence who killed the sea spirits locked in the Scattered Stars prison? Zhang Ting shook his head. Who knows? What if he was in love with sea spirit? After all, sea spirits shouldn't be much different from humans. Tisk! Han Fei said in disdain. Old man, who's crazy enough to fall in love with a fish? Zhang Ting chuckled. That's true. It's none of our business anyway. After chatting for a long time, Han Fei pretended to be a novice. At the same time, he was thinking about how he could prove himself in front of Zhang Ting. Han Fei racked his brains. In this day and age, as a human, he had to find ways to prove that he was a human. It was really hard to be a human. So, Han Fei practiced the 108 desolate god body in the cage. At this moment, the 108 desolate god body was a heaven-level divine quality combat skill, which could absorb spiritual energy from the void. Han Fei stepped on the ground, and a spirit-gathering array appeared. Then he began to practice the 108 desolate god body. The surrounding spiritual energy was gathering, which was extremely pure. Zhang Ting was fooled. What kind of body tempering technique is this? It seems to be of a high level. Han Fei smiled. Of course. Don't you know where I come from? Zhang Ting asked, Where are you from? If I tell you, I'm afraid you'll be scared to death. Zhang Ting sneered. When I was dominating the sea, did I grow up scared? Han Fei grinned. It's different. Do you know the Thug Academy? It's the Thug Academy that once swept through the 36 towns and the 1,000-star city. This body tempering technique was left by the first-generation ancestor of the Thug Academy. Zhang Ting rolled his eyes. It was the first time that he had seen someone so boastful. I've already thoroughly investigated your background. If it weren't for the fact that you're from the Thug Academy, I wouldn't have bothered to pretend to be a prisoner. I would have killed you as soon as possible. However, what was body tempering? Physique, meridians, and bones. At this moment, pure spiritual energy was flowing in Han Fei's meridians. The spiritual energy flowed slowly, and Han Fei didn't even hesitate to go through the circulation route. After watching for a while, Zhang Ting finally confirmed that Han Fei was a human being. He didn't know if sea demons had such meridians. It was easy to see the problem when one was cultivating. If Han Fei was really a sea demon, his spiritual energy couldn't be so pure. Ahem. Well, don't disturb me. I'm cultivating. Zhang Ting hesitated. Actually, Han Fei said angrily, "Oh, I told you not to talk. I'm going to cultivate early and become a hanging fisher." Zhang Ting was speechless and then laughed. With a turn of his body, he had already appeared outside the cage. When he walked to Han Fei's cage, Han Fei saw someone and immediately raised his head. Then Han Fei sat on the ground. F***CK. Why did you go out? Han Fei looked at the cage next door. There was no one there. Seeing Han Fei's astonished expression, the corners of Zhang Ting's mouth gradually curled up. With a burst of spiritual energy, all the dirt on his body was removed, and a brand new dark green robe was put on his body. Hanging on his waist was a 7-star waist token, and hanging together with the 7-star waist token was a prison token. Han Fei was dumbfounded. His eyes fell on the prison token, and a myriad of thoughts flashed through his mind. The prison token, is it the token of the Scattered Stars prison? Why is the token of the Scattered Stars prison with the hexagon starfish? Han Fei thought about it and was puzzled. The hexagon starfish was locked in the ordinary fishery by Ren Tianfei 300 years ago. So, it was reasonable to say that his prison token was at least a product of 300 years ago. If it was a 7-star super expert like hexagon starfish who had the prison token, how could the hexagon starfish have the prison token? Thinking of this, it seemed extremely strange that the prison token appeared in the treasure door of the hexagon starfish. Han Fei remembered that he had asked the hexagon starfish where this prison token came from. The hexagon starfish said it didn't remember. How could the hexagon starfish remember? It only liked shiny things. It would be strange if it could remember this blackened prison token. Therefore, it couldn't have been picked up from the bottom of the sea by the hexagon starfish. Since it was not picked up, it must have been put in by someone. Who put it in? Why put it in the treasure door of the hexagon starfish? The only person Han Fei could think of was Ren Tianfei. Why did Ren Tianfei put the prison token in the treasure door of the hexagon starfish? Was it for Han Fei? Wow! Han Fei couldn't help but take a breath. If this was the case, why didn't Ren Tianfei say it directly? Han Fei was lost in thought for a moment. If it wasn't Ren Tianfei who put the prison token, then who did it? However, in the eyes of Zhang Ting, he thought that Han Fei was surprised to see that he had become a 7-star master. He was very satisfied with Han Fei's current expression, which was even more comfortable than flattering him. Little did he know that the two of them were thinking about two different things. Cough, cough. Zhang Ting said leisurely, Han Fei, one of the deputy captains of the 8th Battalion of the 3rd Column. After 30 years, the first generation of the Thug Academy is really extraordinary. It's really commendable that you dare to challenge a red demon at such a young age. Han Fei suddenly came back to his senses. Are you testing me? Zhang Ting nodded noncommittally. More or less. Although I'm basically sure that you are not a sea demon now, I still have a few questions to ask you. Han Fei pretended to be angry. Go ahead. Zhang Ting asked. First, what is the ring on your hand? I've pinched it. It's extremely hard and can't be broken or taken off. Unless you cut off your finger, even I can't take it out. Han Fei sneered. Then why didn't you cut off my hand? Zhang Ting said with a smile. I wanted to, but when I tried to cut off that finger, a strange power burst out and almost hurt me. This is not an ordinary method. If I really cut off your hand, it would be quite dangerous. Han Fei bared his teeth and said angrily, I made a great contribution and you still want to cut off my hand. Zhang Ting smiled faintly. I didn't cut it off. So, what exactly is this? Han Fei snorted. It's a protective item given by an elder. Fortunately, you didn't cut it off. Otherwise, I'm afraid you will regret it. Zhang Ting narrowed his eyes and didn't care. He just felt that he might have underestimated the Thug Academy. Zhang Ting nodded. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Let me ask you about your physique. Did you cultivate your current physique through that body-refining technique just now? Han Fei frowned. Here it comes. Ren Tianfei said that before coming to the unknown place, he should cultivate a body-refining technique. He must not expose the indestructible body. Sure enough, someone began to doubt his physique. Han Fei rolled his eyes and said, Isn't that obvious? My body-refining technique just now was not strong enough? However, don't even think about it. I won't teach it to anyone. If you dare to rob it, seriously, you will have to be afraid of the revenge of the Thug Academy. Chapter 647. Han Fei looked at Zhang Ting calmly without moving his eyes. Who told you that this is a heaven-level high-quality body-tempering technique? Zhang Ting was shocked. Then, what level is it? Han Fei grinned faintly. Heaven-level, divine quality. Impossible. Zhang Ting suddenly grabbed the cage and glared at Han Fei. There is no divine quality in this world. Han Fei laughed. I give you a chance. Go to the Thug Academy and ask them. As long as you are not afraid of being thrown out, you are welcome to ask them. The Thug Academy once swept the 1,000-star city. Do you really think we don't have any trump cards? Let alone the Thug Academy, which big clans in the 1,000-star city have such a powerful technique. Why don't you go and ask them? Zhang Ting stared at Han Fei. Humph, do you think I dare not? I will continue to investigate this matter. Han Fei said frankly, You are welcome to investigate. Han Fei was calm. It was impossible for Zhang Ting to find out the problem. Of course, Old Bai had long seen that there was a problem with the body-tempering technique he cultivated. It was the 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies before, and now it was the 108 desolate god body. No matter which one it was, theoretically, it was impossible to reach his current physique. Old Bai didn't know that. But he didn't ask, which made Han Fei happy. Besides, Han Fei suspected that even if Old Bai knew that he cultivated the indestructible body, what could he do? Although he didn't know the secrets of the Thug Academy, he was sure that they had a grudge against the 1,000-star city. Only some people in the 1,000-star city were qualified to have a grudge against the Thug Academy. Otherwise, according to Old Bai's character, the Thug Academy wouldn't have suffered so easily. Han Fei said with a smile, Master Zhang, do you have any other questions? I will tell you everything I know. Zhang Ting restrained his momentum and said with a smile, I do have some questions, but you can't answer them. How did the demonic energy in your body disappear? Don't even think about getting away with it. Han Fei said indifferently, Hey, have you ever heard of a law? Zhang Ting asked, Law? What law? Han Fei shrugged. The law of conservation of energy. Zhang Ting frowned. What is this? Han Fei grinned. You should have known it. Everything in the world was energy. Matter would not be annihilated and would only continue to exist in this world in a certain way. Although I really don't know what's going on with the demonic aura, I'm not a demon after all. Why must you ask me where the demonic aura went? I can only say that it turned into another kind of energy. Perhaps it will be absorbed by me, or perhaps it will dissipate into the world. No matter what, I don't think it will be a big problem. Zhang Ting sneered. What law of conservation of energy? This was the normal heavenly Tao. Your explanation does make sense, but… Zhang Ting stretched out 2 fingers, pointed at his eyes, and then pointed at Han Fei. If there's something wrong with you, you can't escape my eyes. Creak. The cage suddenly opened automatically. Zhang Ting said indifferently, All right, let's go. Han Fei asked in surprise, You're letting me go? Zhang Ting smiled and said, Why don't you continue to stay here? I didn't lie to you when I told you before. This 3rd floor was really built to detain hidden fishers. Han Fei looked at the empty cells. So, the previous hidden fishers here were really sent to the battlefield to die? Of course. Passing through the 2nd floor and the 1st floor, Han Fei met a total of 3 jailers. Han Fei's eyes had been staring at their waists. When he found that only Zhang Ting had this prison token, he knew that his prison token definitely didn't exist in the treasure gate of the hexagon starfish for no reason. On the ground, it was not sunlight but a big dark room. He couldn't see anything. Out of the room there was a yard. At this moment there was a gate on the ground in the yard. Han Fei found that Wang Dashuai, Xia Shaochan, Zhang Xuanyu, Lu Renquang, Luo Xiaobai, and Chao Qiu were all here. At the moment when Zhang Ting came out, the gate hung in the sky, turned into a huge shadow, and slammed directly at Zhang Ting. Seeing this, Han Fei immediately jumped to the side. Zhang Ting punched horizontally, and with a thud, he took 7 or 8 steps back. Zhang Ting said angrily, Wang Dashuai, don't be presumptuous. Don't forget where this place is. Although there was a touch of anger on Wang Dashuai's face, he still didn't look ferocious. However, his tone was extremely domineering. My junior brother has made a great contribution. How dare you doubt my junior brother? You're courting death. The gate was raised by Wang Dashuai and slammed down from the sky like a huge flat brick. With a bang, the whole room was smashed into powder. 2 big axes appeared in Zhang Ting's hands, blocking the gate, and he shouted angrily, Wang Dashuai, it's not your business to arrest people in the Scattered Stars prison. Wang Dashuai didn't have such awareness. His body, which was as strong as a hill, broke through the air. As the giant gate flapped, a gust of wind blew, and the 7-star Zhang Ting was blasted out one after another. Enough. Zhang Ting's axes flashed in the air. Wang Dashuai, do you also want to enter the Scattered Stars prison? Wang Dashuai grinned. Have a try. At this moment Han Fei shouted, Senior Brother Dashuai, Senior Brother Dashuai, forget it, forget it. Wang Dashuai stopped and his face turned ugly. Forget it? Little junior brother, this son of AB*TCH didn't embarrass you, did he? Han Fei showed a weird smile. Senior Brother Dashuai, it's okay. I had a good talk with Master Zhang Ting in the prison. Xia Shaochan appeared beside Han Fei. Humph, what do you mean good talk? I heard that you were carried in while unconscious. The hexagon starfish was hanging on Xia Shaochan's shoulder. I helped, but they took you in and I couldn't help them. Han Fei smoothed Xia Shaochan's hair. It's nothing, nothing. Then Han Fei looked at the hexagon starfish. For the sake of your bravery that day, I'll get you some treasures later. The hexagon starfish's eyes lit up. Really? You won't lie to me? Of course, the benefits are beyond your imagination. Fei, are you all right? Lu Renquang asked. Han Fei, did he embarrass you? I heard that no one in the Scattered Stars prison has a good ending. Chao Qiu nodded again and again. Yes, I immediately went to find reinforcements, but I didn't get you out until now. Han Fei looked back at the house that had become a ruin and said with a smile, It's okay. I really had a good talk with Master Zhang Ting. Maybe I'll come again in the future. I'd better show some mercy. Again? Wang Dashuai stared at him. This place is not good. Let's not come again. Han Fei smiled and said, "Who knows? Master Zhang, I won't pay for this house. The sea-swallowing seashells that were taken from me should be enough." Wang Dashui turned his head. "Give me back my sea-swallowing seashells." Han Fei quickly pulled Wang Dashui over. "Hey, senior brother Dashui, it's just a sea-swallowing seashell. Don't be so generous." Wang Dashui chuckled. "Little junior brother, it doesn't matter." Clang. Wang Dashui shouldered the door and glanced at Zhang Ting. "Fortunately, my little junior brother is fine. Otherwise, I would have smashed you into a fish skin." The corners of Zhang Ting's mouth trembled and he sneered. "Really? Let's talk about it after you get a 7-star title." Wang Dashui asked, "Little junior brother, let's go." Han Fei had already taken Xia Xiaochan's hand. "Let's find a place to have a meal. I haven't eaten for a long time." After leaving the Scattered Stars prison, Han Fei found that this place was as remote as the Scattered Stars 7 unit. Wang Dashui said, "Here. There are a lot of people and masters watching it." Han Fei was stunned. "Senior brother, why did you smash someone's house? Won't anyone make trouble for you?" Wang Dashui shook his head. "It's okay. Some people are just watching. They won't do anything unless something big happens." Han Fei clicked his tongue. "Chao Chiu, thank you." Chao Chiu chuckled. "You do have to thank me. If I hadn't fished you out of the sea, you would have been eaten by countless marine creatures." Han Fei asked, "What happened then? Was there a fish tide?" Chao Chiu shook his head. "Didn't we set off the highest alarm? All of a sudden, 8 guard regiments came and directly flattened the skeleton shore." Han Fei let out a long breath. "That's good." Xia Xiaochan glared at Han Fei. "What's good about it? I heard that you were almost killed." Han Fei bared his teeth. "How can I be killed so easily? However, the enemy's combat power was indeed beyond my expectations. Let me tell you, we must not fight head-on with creatures at the level of hidden fishers. We really can't beat them." Everyone rolled their eyes. "Isn't that nonsense? Don't you know what realm you are in? Isn't it enough for you to kill peak-level hanging fishers? Now you want to kill hidden fishers?" Chao Chiu said regretfully, "Give me 2 ancient jades." Han Fei patted Chao Chiu on the shoulder. "This time, all the credit is yours and all the points are yours. In addition, I will seal spirits in all your ultra-quality weapons." Chao Chiu was surprised. "Huh? Han Fei, you are generous?" Han Fei was taken aback. "Really?" Everyone nodded. "Yes." When Han Fei was about to give the Hexagon Starfish a reward, everyone was surprised. When did Han Fei become so generous? Han Fei chuckled. "It doesn't matter whether it's money or not. I just want to be happy. Let's go. Have a good meal." Chapter 648. They didn't intend to bother Wang Dashui at the beginning of the Scattered Stars Island. After all, Wang Dashui had left the Thug Academy before. Although they felt close, they were not as close as the 5 of them. Moreover, when they needed to use Wang Dashui, it meant that they had already started to stir up trouble. This is not a good start. At this moment, everyone found a random place in the Hengduan mountain range and began to eat hot pot. Luo Xiaobai frowned. "Senior brother, someone is spying on us." In the forest, Luo Xiaobai's perception range should be the furthest. With plants as her eyes, she knew the surroundings better than Han Fei did. Wang Dashui said innocently, "It's okay. It's not the Scattered Stars prison. Anyone who goes deeper into the Hengduan mountain range will basically be monitored." "Are there any secrets in the Transverse Mountain?" Zhang Ting told him that one of the largest producers of spirit awakening fluid was inside the Transverse Mountain. If that was the case, the entire Transverse Mountain should be the most heavily guarded place on the Scattered Stars Island. At that time, Han Fei wondered why Zhang Ting talked to him. Zhang Ting was very confident about the safety of the Spirit Awakening Fluid Collection area in the Transverse Mountain. He was telling Han Fei to see if there would be any follow-up actions after guessing Han Fei's identity. Wang Dashui smiled and said, "Yes." However, there was no need to worry about it, and there was no need to rush in. Most of the experts in Fragmentary Star City are in the transverse mountain range. Han Fei's heart skipped a beat. Sure enough, all the strong masters are here. It meant that this was the safest place on the Scattered Stars Island. Picking up a piece of lobster meat, Han Fei asked, "Senior brother, do you know where there are plantations on the island?" Wang Dashui's mouth was covered with oil. He was holding a large piece of sea cucumber meat in his hands and gnawing on it. After hearing Han Fei's words, he couldn't help but say in astonishment, "Plantation? Are there any plantations on the Scattered Stars Island?" Xia Shaochan and the others also looked at Han Fei. "Does the Thug Academy have territory on the Scattered Stars Island too?" Han Fei grinned. "I guess." Han Fei was puzzled. "That's impossible. According to old Jiang and Jiang Qin's personalities, if they lived on the Scattered Stars Island for a long time, how could they not establish a plantation? I think it's possible. What if we still have martial uncles on the Scattered Stars Island?" Wang Dashui shook his head. No, martial uncle didn't. You still have a senior sister and senior brother, but they are not on the island now. Xia Shaochan asked, "Senior brother and senior sister?" Lu Renquan quickly said, "Then including you, senior brother Dashui, there are 3 of you, right?" Wang Dashui smiled. "Yes. They go out, I watch the house. By the way, try not to go to sea before you become intermediate hanging fishers." With that, Wang Dashui looked at Han Fei. "Little junior brother, don't go out for the time being. Is it very dangerous?" Wang Dashui glanced at Chao Chiu, who was engrossed in eating, and patted Chao Chiu with his big hand. "Well, do you want to go back first?" Chao Chiu paused for a moment. "I'm just having a meal. I won't eavesdrop." Xia Shaochan tilted her head and looked at Chao Chiu. "Is it delicious?" Chao Chiu's mouth froze and he thought, "I really won't eavesdrop." Han Fei thought for a while. After all, he could win this time because of Chao Chiu's 2 ancient jades. That thing was extremely precious, and not everyone could have a blow from a peak-level hidden fisher. That sea demon was only a junior hidden fisher. After being poisoned and hit at close range, he died. Han Fei said, "Senior brother, it doesn't matter. Just don't talk about the important things." Wang Dashui chuckled. "It's not a big deal. It's just that your senior brother and senior sister have a lot of enemies outside. If you don't hide your identity, you may get into trouble when you go out." Everyone looked at each other and understood. Just like when they were in the level 3 fishery, they caused a lot of trouble and were hunted by the whole fishery. It was normal for them to be implicated. Chao Chiu muttered. He had checked the Thug Academy when he went back. Unfortunately, he only found that the Thug Academy used to be very powerful. However, most of the information had long been erased and couldn't be found at all. Now it seemed that this school was not simple. The people who came out seemed to be very powerful. Han Fei was wondering if he should ask Wang Dashui about the boneyard. But on second thought, he hadn't even found old Jiang yet. Why would he ask about the boneyard? In the end, under the strong condemnation of everyone, Han Fei was asked to keep a low profile in the future. After the meal, they didn't stay long. Since Han Fei was fine, they could go back. Xia Shaochan hadn't left, and neither had Chao Chiu. At this moment, both Han Fei and Xia Shaochan were staring at him. Chao Chiu looked dumbfounded. Why are you looking at me?" Han Fei said grumpily. "Why are you still here? Are you going to stay with us when we are in love?" Chao Chiu suddenly understood. Oh, then I'm leaving. Smack. After Chao Chiu left, Han Fei was slapped on the back. He looked back, only to see Xia Shaochan glaring at him fiercely. "Are you bold now? You haven't even become a hanging fisher yet, but you provoked a hidden fisher?" Han Fei was speechless. "I didn't. They came to me." Xia Shaochan scoffed. "When you took the big starfish away, I felt something was wrong. I asked you and you said it was fine. Han Fei scoffed. It was fine. If you don't believe me, ask Master Hexagon. At this moment, the hexagon starfish clung to Xia Xiaochan's shoulder. Yes, yes. Starfish almost died. Han Fei was angry. Don't you know how to talk? Can you be a little more sensible? Xia Xiaochan snorted. Forget it, can you still fight now? Han Fei froze for a moment. What's wrong? I can fight. Xia Xiaochan blushed slightly. Then take me to a place to fight. I feel. Han Fei's face changed. Are you going to have an attack? Xia Xiaochan nodded. After coming to the Scattered Stars Island, I almost had an attack several times. However, it wasn't very strong. I'm going to break out all at once. Han Fei couldn't help but take a breath. Wait, can you control the time of your attack? Xia Xiaochan tilted her head. I can barely suppress it. Once I stop suppressing it, it may break out. I can't suppress it for the next 2 days, so I may have to fight. Han Fei looked serious. He immediately put aside the thought of dating. Let's go to the skeleton shore with me. Xia Xiaochan was surprised. Didn't a big battle just take place there? It's because a big battle has just taken place that it's safe. 2 hours later, Han Fei lay panting in the door of the hexagon starfish, casting the divine healing technique on himself one after another. Han Fei muttered, You're too strong, aren't you? Now that you have an attack, all you take out are divine weapons, and you destroyed 8 sets of my ultra-quality battlesuit. Xia Xiaochan squatted beside Han Fei aggrievedly. Then, does it hurt? Han Fei coughed. Hurt? Of course. It hurts. Han Fei couldn't help but think of the battle just now. Xia Xiaochan's strength had improved even faster. After breaking through to a junior hanging fisher, Xia Xiaochan's combat power was no less than that of a peak-level hanging fisher when she used the divine dagger. Of course, the main reason was the pair of divine weapons. If Xia Xiaochan had a pair of ultra-quality spiritual daggers, she wouldn't have been so embarrassed. Her stomach had been stabbed 7 times, and there were no less than 50 wounds all over her body. It was all thanks to him. If it were someone else, such as that idiot rival in love, Gong Wenhai, he would definitely have been stabbed to death by Xia Xiaochan. Xia Xiaochan reached out her hand in embarrassment. Then I'll give you a massage. Cough. Well, girl, give me a kiss. It can also relieve the pain. In your dreams, since Xia Xiaochan gradually mastered certain things about love, it was not easy to cheat her anymore. She was not as simple and easy to kidnap as she used to be. If he had known this earlier, he would have taken a step further, and he wouldn't have been so passive now. Han Fei couldn't help but feel sorry. What a big loss. Alas. Xia Xiaochan suddenly sighed. I don't know why, but recently my cultivation has become more and more smooth. I feel that my strength is growing rapidly. I should be able to break through to an intermediate hanging fisher in less than 2 months. Han Fei was speechless and almost vomited blood. Listen, is this even human? I've tried my best, but I barely made a breakthrough. Even if I had a chance, I still haven't been able to break through to a hanging fisher. You, on the other hand, actually complained that your cultivation speed was a little too fast. Han Fei gritted his teeth. Then it seems that I have to break through to a hanging fisher as soon as possible. Otherwise, in another 2 months, if you have an attack, I'm afraid you'll hack me to death. Xia Xiaochan squatted on the ground, holding her chin with one hand, unhappy. Han Fei said, Close your eyes. Xia Xiaochan shrank back. I won't. Han Fei said with a smile, I have a gift for you. Xia Xiaochan asked, Really? Close your eyes first. Bo, ah. Han Fei, you are shameless. Han Fei laughed. Kiss me if you can. I'll kill you. After a while, Han Fei lay on the ground. Okay, stop it. I really have a gift. With that, Han Fei took out about 500 caddies of spirit awakening fluid. This time, he actually obtained less than 5,000 caddies of spirit awakening fluid. The mermaid also lied to him. Her sea-swallowing seashell only contained more than 3,000 caddies. However, Han Fei was already satisfied. This thing was not cabbage, so 3,000 caddies was not a small amount. Xia Xiaochan was shocked. Huh? Spirit awakening fluid? Han Fei handed it over and said, I got it from a sea monster. Otherwise, why do you think I fought that battle? Xia Xiaochan was stunned but didn't take it. She said, I can't use it now. Why? Xia Xiaochan said, as I said, my strength is growing very fast now. I need to suppress it. If you give me the spirit awakening fluid, how can I suppress it? Han Fei was suspicious. Maybe it can suppress your illness? Xia Xiaochan shook her head. It can't. I drank a lot of spirit awakening fluid last time, but it didn't help at all. On the contrary, it seems to be able to promote my strength faster. Xia Xiaochan didn't want it. The hexagon starfish quickly said, You don't want it, but I want it. Starfish wants it. Starfish is in urgent need of spirit awakening fluid now. I think I can make a breakthrough now. Han Fei was speechless and frowned. You want it? You want everything. For the sake of your contribution, I'll give you 200 caddies first. Don't drink too much.